Okay, so for quick clarification for this upcoming video, essentially, I watched the first 30 or so minutes of this video, and I was like, man, at this point, I might as well hit the record button and make a reaction out of this. Now, for, I guess, preface, there is definitely a lot of crazy shit we end up saying in this video, and a lot of it is just a knee-jerk reaction. When I say we, I'm mostly speaking for myself when I say I do not intend for anything to be taken seriously, any direct insults to characters or any like ideology. I think a couple times we went a little bit overboard, so I kind of want to preface that and apologize if anything. If it feels like we're being necessarily me, and by we, I mean me. I speak primarily for myself. I don't want to neuter the words of my co-host Goku Severius, and along with Wire Guy and Melon Man. I think overall, before I kind of let the raw reaction play, I think this video was definitely well constructed. I think it was, to a certain extent, concise. I appreciated the editing, and I do agree with some sections of the video, primarily being the section about Revelations and bits and pieces about the alternate ammo type. However, I really did not personally enjoy a lot of this video. I felt like it was kind of bad faith, most definitely. I could have clarified at some points. Maybe I might do a more concise breakdown of why I agree / disagree with a lot of the points brought up during the video, but I just want to clarify this real quick before throwing y'all in the middle of this. Overall, I give the video probably about a it's a good video. It's definitely a good watch. I believe if you truly hold an opinion on something, you should be able to challenge and defend your opinion. I don't know if we did the best job of clarifying ourselves and our stances in this video, but more or less, I commend both CJSanta and Henry Myth for being able to work together on creating such an enormous script. Personally, as someone who has written scripts before, it can be a arduous task, and I do not mean to discredit and minimize that in any way, shape, or form. I want to clarify again before this reaction starts that these are my knee-jerk reactions while watching this. This is not supposed to be a in-depth takedown or a concise response, but that's pretty much it. I'm going to link the video in the description. Watch it from your own opinions just as we have, and we've watched it and formed our own opinions. But yeah, in case CJSanta or even Henry Myth, I think his name, is watching this, please don't take anything we said in this video to heart. It is not meant to be, I guess, a takedown of character, even though I understand Goku Severius, and he's the one with the Archer PFP, in case you aren't aware. It can be a little bit overboard at times, but I just want to clarify that. I hope you all really enjoy this reaction. And yeah, without further ado, I'm going to throw you guys into the point where I started recording my perspective.
Back to you! Thor did it 80 years prior! You're a fucking retard!
You think Blundell didn't play Half-Life? While adding tentacles and Lovecraft was new for zombies, it's been done in many games before and since.
Well, why does any of this matter? You're not even comparing it and saying these games did it better. You're just saying, oh, someone already did it. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, but you're saying that as if zombies is a recycled idea. Like, it's been around. It's inspired by. Dude, this guy's so fucking stupid. How are you this stupid? Like, this has gotta be rage bait, I feel like. Because it's getting me. No, because you said 3 fucking hours. What is a 3-hour video as rage bait?
I love the game. See, this is what I need to do when I get monetized. Just start doing shit like this.
Not in its innovation, to say the very least. Although
fuck being a grifter, I'm just gonna make bad take videos.
Shadows is hardly a bad map, but the magic the community sees in this map, I don't for the most part. And as a side note, the visual filter Treyarch put on this map specifically is very distracting after the first few playthroughs.
Dude, what? This is one of the best looking zombies maps of all time.
Yeah,
yes,
no, that's like
the fucking vibes.
Cool,
everything is so unique, distinct, and feels alive.
No, bro. I remember seeing that map for the first time and thinking, "Holy fuck!"
And it looks so different from everything that came before it, too.
And after it, this map still looks one of one.
No, literally, it was the first map to have unique UI like this. Like,
no, the music.
You're not even mentioning any of that. The music. The fucking.
Dude.
Not talking about how Little Arnie's at all. You didn't mention any of the strong suits of the map.
Almost every facet of that map is fucking sick. I love it.
Dude. Actually, no, he did mention the strong suits of the map. He just said a nothing burger statement about them to try and make us think they're bad. It's like, no, everyone loves how the fucking Shadows looks. You're the fucking weird one.
Especially after playing any of the other maps in the game for prolonged periods of time. One big issue with all maps in BO3, as we'll discuss, is that the first 10 minutes of every match are spent doing the exact same thing and buying the...
Dude, you just...
How is it different from any map in any fucking zombies game? You do the same shit on every fucking map. You spawn in, you turn on power, you get the perks, you maybe go get the wonder weapon, and then you set up, and then you play the fucking game. That is the same on every map in every fucking history. What is so uniquely different? How is this a uniquely BO3 issue? What the fuck are you saying?
Dude, this guy just doesn't like zombies. This guy just doesn't like zombies. But he thinks he does.
The exact same doors every match you play. Shadows...
You
do not do that on Kano!
Wait. You just complained about the thing that would make you take a different route when you have to go open in the fucking doors. You literally just complained and said it was a useless, pointless thing. And now you're complaining that you take the same route? Also, that's how you play every fucking map!
You get a fire drinking game out of this. Drink every time he has a horrific take.
Dude, I would argue yes. I would have alcohol.
Wait, hold on, I gotta seltzer next to me. Fuck it, I'm gonna sit every time he says something stupid.
Every match really hurts replayability. And if
I'll
I'm
take a
going
puff.
with the sword on top of that,
Yeah,
this map quickly
I'll do
is...
something.
Okay, the fucking rituals hurt in replayability. Not that much, but it does a little bit.
It
so
was on launch.
Like,
on launch, when that shit was like
launch,
a whole minute and a half, that's a fair point. Now, it's less bad, but I'll give it that. It can be a little annoying, especially if you die early, you gotta restart.
Yeah. Like, if you just fuck up. But, like, again, just don't fuck up.
My interest. When I'm setting up for high rounds, the first 30 minutes of this map is dedicated to rituals, then the sword...
Dude, if it takes you 30 minutes on solo... You're just bad at the game. It's like, I don't know how else to break it to you. I don't believe you hit round 100. Post video proof, because with how you're talking about these mechanics, I just don't believe you. You just didn't mention that in solo it revives you. The fucking thingy. The robot guy. So don't protector.
It's painfully slow, and for that reason, I genuinely don't like the setup process on this map, because unlike BO3's other maps, it's not very dynamic.
You're just broadcasting up Origins! That map is arguably just as much setup, or even more!
Especially in co-op.
No, nothing the sword. If you get the sword.
Dealing with people moving from sword location, making zombies despawn, on top of the fact that you're likely going to be doing
this is only an issue if you're playing with randoms. This is only issue if you're playing with randoms. It's a fair point, because I know people like doing that, but still, it's only an issue if you're playing with randoms.
Term dynamic.
Making an issue 99% of people doing the Easter egg won't have.
Every step or quest alongside the gameplay. Shadows, for me, royally fails in that aspect. During the rituals, you hoard the keepers in the same way every time, and the eggs, if you're doing them on low rounds, play the exact same way every time.
Man discovers a fucking soul chest in zombies.
Is he gonna mention the Origins robot stepping on the soul chest and ruining your progress? I feel like that's the next words that's gonna come out of his mouth. Watch. He's gonna say how that's good game design.
With the Margwas isn't much better. Doing the ritual circles each round is extremely tedious.
Like the Margwa, dude, how did he?
You can do it in fucking 15 seconds. You can do it in 15 seconds.
The Margwas are supposed to give you points so you can unlock the map quickly. Since you need to unlock the map to get pack up on, and which is a. Dude, oh my god.
15 fucking seconds! That's how long it takes to do the Margwa step! 15 fucking seconds!
Bro.
Like filler, and Unlike Mob of the Dead, where each part of the plane, for example, required a different solution and presented different game.
Nah, go fuck yourself. I hated recollecting the plane parts every time you wanted to use that motherfucker. That shit was ass.
Dude,
that shit was ass. Look, we're not gonna let that shit slide. Having to take each part up individually, go fuck yourself. No.
Yeah, and you're saying that this map feels slow, but every time you want to pack a punch, you gotta fucking go collect 8 individual parts. Yeah, fucking right, Meat Rider. I love Mob. It's a top 5 map for me, maybe even top 3. No, not top 3.
Feels like it's lacking in creativity.
It's a top 5 map
compared to a DLC map in the middle of Black Ops 2 that had a lot less time and resources.
What the fuck? You're just lying! Jason Blundell and his team were working on it since before the start of Black Ops 2. And they weren't working on the other maps. They were specifically working on that map. You're literally just lying. Like, they made a whole other different part of the team for this map. You're just being dishonest.
To wrap this up, I understand why the developers...
It's literally why Transit and fucking, Die-Rise are so... It's because they split the team in half to work on this map! Dude, God! How do you know nothing about these games?
Setup-wise to Mob of the Dead, as it was extremely popular and well-received. For many, that map saved Black Ops 2 Zombies when it came out. Going into a new game, you want your main launch and first DLC, more on that later, to grab people's attention and reflect the season going forward.
Are we trying to say Shadows did not do that? Are we trying to argue that Shadows did not do that?
It was controversial at first, but now it's like universally renowned as a top 2 map. Like, in almost every single Zombies discussion from every figure in the community, Shadows is a minimum top 3 map. Minimum.
Like, we could argue the Giant being the map for like a casual experience is a dog shit pick, which I do agree, right? I wish it wasn't the Giant. I wish it was like some other kind of, thing, like, like a map like Town, where you just hop on and you just play that shit without having like do some extraneous ass shit. I just am not a fan of the Giant in that light.
Which isn't, I mean, it's not that annoying, but it's like, if you're looking at it from the perspective of, just hop on, no setup, period, then yeah,
and it was, you had to fucking have the season pass for that, and I didn't have the season pass, so it was Shadows or nothing.
Yeah, no, same.
But Shadows of Evil failed at that miserably. There isn't enough new in this map, and what was there made people extremely cautious and worried about the future.
You're just lying.
There wasn't enough new in this map. Alright, buddy. Alright, buddy.
There wasn't enough new. Ooh, no, there was. You just literally didn't talk about it or lied about it. He didn't mention that it introduced a new fucking perk.
No, he'll get to that. He'll get to Widow's Wine. I saw his section on Widow's Wine,
section
dude.
The video is over.
No, I mean later on. He'll get to Widow's Wine.
Oh, later on. Oh, why didn't you talk about it in the context of the map it was introduced in?
It exemplifies why this isn't a good map to launch with. It may surprise people.
Okay, that's
fair. That's fair. I'll give you that.
That's a fair argument. And it might not have been the best choice for a launch map, but saying that as a critique of the map itself,
it does feel a little disjointed from the rest of the DLC season. But the Giant was there to kind of kick that off, so I mean, take that as you will.
Yeah, so okay, that's fair.
But I'd be pissed if Shadows was a fucking DLC map.
No,
like we're following the premise story, and then we just cut the random fucking Morgue City. I'd be mad as shit.
Yeah, so it's like, where else could it have gone? It's needed here, and it's like, this guy would probably say something like, "Oh, then they should have made it story relevant." Dude, the map you're gassing up, Mob of the Dead, has zero fucking story relevancy except for one thing that didn't even happen till Black Ops 4. So shut the fuck up.
3 hive mind bubble, but this map was widely disliked upon Black Ops 3's release. It was alienating to casual players.
Notice how he said upon release and not in general. Because everyone realized, oh,
Consider
No,
this
it's actually
the
pretty
only
fucking
map
good.
you can play without the season pass. High rounders found the map dull at launch with all the bugs, and Easter egg runners were turned off by the 4-player required Easter egg and the flag step.
At launch. You see, your whole argument crumbles apart because you have to say at launch. Because none of those are problems anymore.
When you
It's one
realize
of
that
the most popular
BO3
high rounds maps on the fucking leaderboards. We can vote. Like, if you've ever looked at the fucking high run speedruns leaderboards,
I'll be right back.
it is one of the most popular maps.
When you realize that BO3 has the shortest round 100 times outside of World at War.
Because BO3 is the easiest zombies game, except for Black Ops 4. And Cold War. It's out of the classic zombies archetype. Because BO3 I still consider under that umbrella.
Hey, DE is the next section. I hope you're ready for this. That's
Oh, dude. Wait, how short is it? Oh, that's the giant. No, okay, so the giant is. But that's not very long. I wonder if he likes the giant.
Launch just didn't have much appeal, and while my
He probably is
opinion
gonna dick ride the
has softened on
giant.
the map somewhat over the years, it's
no, he's
also
gonna be like
largely
the giant
stayed
was
the
best
same.
at World at War.
Shadows
Yeah,
of
he's
Evil
gonna say the World at
is a
War
pretty
version was
average
better.
map at best.
Dude, that's a crazy ass fucking game.
That's some shit I would say at launch. I would say that shit at
I find
launch.
it extremely
Yeah,
overrated.
I feel like this guy played it on his Xbox 360 at launch and hasn't played it again since. That's what this feels like.
Specifically the 360 version.
You know,
He
specifically
saw last
the
shit
360.
ripped off and hop out. It was like, this is dog shit.
And the revisionist history that
You know, because he doesn't have a computer. The guy who wrote this.
There's
How do
one
you
of the
edit and
best
record
maps
this?
of all
Does he
time
just mean not a
is
good computer?
insane to me.
No,
High
the
rounds
same.
on Shadows Solo
The guy who recorded
can be
the
a pretty
audio,
good
edited
time,
and recorded.
And it's the saving grace for this map because while generic, the layout is solid. The wonder weapons are good, and the map is spread out enough to facilitate 4 people. I'm just sick of hearing about it and constantly seeing it be.
Dude, you were just gassing up Mob of the Dead. You can't say that after gassing up Origins and Mob. It's like you can't say that.
Horrific.
Being lauded as one of the best maps of all time because Shadows of Evil, in essence, is a flawed map without many ideas of its own. Just because you take
No, one, you just didn't mention them, and 2, why does it matter if it takes ideas from outside the context of the game? Every map does that. No map is fully original. Like, even in context of gameplay, most of the mechanics are brand new. The monster plays differently from the fucking Afterlife and Mob. So you're already wrong there. Because it's fundamentally different. You have to manually trigger it, and you use it for different purposes.
styles and themes from other places that haven't been in your franchise before, it doesn't automatically make it groundbreaking. It's all a matter of execution, and then
Isn't that literally what the definition of groundbreaking for, like, in the context of a franchise is using new ideas?
in that department, this map falls way short.
I'm gonna go drop a dislike on this video. This video fucking sucks.
Wait, let him cook for the giant. Let him cook. Let him
The
cook.
giant is Doris, but worse. And trust
And there it is.
me, we'll get to that. To kick off the premise story in Black Ops 3, they chose a familiar location that didn't interfere and actually lended itself to BO3's story. Although the reality likely is, this was due to time constraints, and also, what's a safer choice to launch a game with?
Dude, why are you... No, they just wanted to remake the map, and then they also made it story relevant. That's how zombies works. They come up with ideas of something they want to do first, and then they link it back into the story. That's how it's always fucking worked, until, like, Black Ops 4.
With an updated Doris.
It's in Black Ops 4, actually.
Well, the only catch is that when Black Ops 3 launched, you could only play this map as part of the Season Pass.
Yeah, no, that was
Decision
dog
which,
shit.
in retrospect, most could agree was a mistake.
Yeah, that was a dog shit
mistake that
decision.
Black
You're right
Ops
about
2,
that.
despite all the problems with Transit and Green Run as a whole, did not make. Having the Giant as a
Irrelevant. Irrelevant. Didn't.
Secondary launcher
You're
map
just
would have
yapping to yap. That
significantly
has
helped
no
ease
relevance
people
to
into
the
the
video.
more quest-heavy experience of Shadows of Evil. Story-wise, this is where Richtofen links back up with the rest of the Primus crew after acquiring the summoning key and a few other events too that we didn't know until later. And this is where it's established in the shocking intro cutscene that was revealed at Comic-Con 2015. Primus Richtofen steps out of the teleporter and domes 1.0 Richtofen in the head. The annoying disconnect is, in this cutscene, Takeo specifically mentions a plan, and the crew seems to be very in sync as to what they're doing. But in the actual map itself, all the dialogue is everyone still talking about how they don't trust Richtofen and they all have no idea what's going on. The purpose of the map was to collect Richtofen 1.0's soul, which we didn't really know at the time, and
Dude. Is he stupid? They don't know what's going on because Richtofen lied to them. He gave them a fake plan. That's why they were all in sync at first. Because they had a plan, and then Richtofen was like, nope, that's not actually the plan. And then just, like, didn't explain anything. Absorbed his soul, but it's like, that's fucking why! That's... Shit, oops. Like... Basic media literacy! They're confused because they were being manipulated and lied to! And that's why they don't trust Richtofen! Because he just fucking lied to them!
I think bro only. I don't think bro watched the lore video.
Bro knows nothing about the lore. He complains about things not making sense, but then doesn't do any research into why it would make sense.
The entire 1.0 crew and trap their souls in the summoning key, which took some of the wind out of the sails of this game. Regardless, people were still on board with the story by this point because we didn't know how or if the story would deviate at some point. Unfortunately, it didn't, but more on that later.
What? I mean, I guess technically it doesn't deviate in this game, but the story does deviate. Literally. Like, in Black Ops 4, they literally go back and stop it from happening after Dempsey. Or no, after Nikolai.
The Giant's gameplay and changes are another matter. One of my core issues with the Giant is that BO3's mechanics don't really lend themselves well to a map that was designed for a different game. With wildly different movement and core mechanics from 2009. Trust, we're going to touch on this later. But the hit speed and spawn rates break the map, and not having core BO3 features like the shield and Widow's Wine in turn makes this one of the most frustrating maps in the game.
Dude, just say you're bad! The Giant is so fucking
You
easy.
say this on the map with the top one camping spot of all time being the catwalk is crazy.
Dude, you're bad at the game! Like, that's... I wasn't struggling on this map as a fucking 10-year-old! Actually, I was probably 11 by the time I got this, because I waited until DE to buy the season pass. But, like... insane! He's just bad. He's just bad.
Was remade in this map as well, although its implementation in BO3 feels scuffed. In World of War, the Wunderwaffe did have self-damage to the player, and you could zap yourself with it, and on Derice specifically, not Shinonuma for some reason. It would set the player's health value to 1, and you wouldn't be able to regenerate health after that, making you a one-hit down if you damaged yourself with it.
Was that even intentional?
It was.
It was? Oh, well, they removed it in the next map, or in... Actually, no, Shinonuma came before Derice.
Yeah, dude, Derice was the last one, and then the Wunderwaffe only showed up in Call of the Dead.
Self-damage to the player. The shock effect you would see on your screen when you shoot at close quarters was purely visual and a leftover from World at War. The Wunderwaffe in BO3, on the other hand, does a tiny bit of splash damage to the player, although it's such an insignificant amount of damage that it's not clear to the player that it even exists.
Dude, I think this is such a non-issue.
For extremely long periods of time without even realizing why. That aspect of it, and
without even realizing why, as he shoots the fucking ground. Like, direct, dude. Like, you just, again, a skill issue. It's the same with the ray gun. It also does splash damage.
adequately telegraphing the self-damage to the player, I'm convinced that it's either a bug that slipped by the devs or just a flat-out terrible bit of game design. Another
That the Wunderwaffe does self-damage if you're too
No,
close?
he's saying that there's barely any indicator that you're taking damage from the Wunderwaffe.
I get. There isn't any from the ray gun either.
No, there is. Your screen still gets red.
Well, yeah, your screen gets red with the Wunderwaffe too. That's what he just said. That it left him red screen, and he didn't know why. And it's like, the red screen because the fucking Wunderwaffe.
Well, in previous iterations, he's talking about that the Wunderwaffe had the stun effect, and that's also missing from this game.
Okay, they removed the stun.
It's a non-issue. Don't get me wrong, but I get the point he's bringing up. I think the Waff in this game is severely
I think the
outclassed by
Wunderwaffe feels
everything.
like shit. I think it just feels like shit. But he's not saying that. He's complaining about a fucking non-issue that happened because people didn't like how it felt in the original. Or in terms of, I don't like that.
He'd even mentioned Wunderwaffe taking your jug in War at War.
And, yeah, and it takes your jug. Like, people didn't like that. That's not fun.
poor design choice or bug.
And also, they took it away because the other thing you were complaining about that, the map is so small, so the super aggressive and fast zombies don't feel good. Yeah, now imagine if you lost your jug and got stunned when you shot the fucking Wunderwaffe. You'd just be complaining about that.
Bug, who knows, is that when you shoot a horde of zombies, some of them will get stunned by it, but the lightning chain doesn't actually kill them. So they'll break out of the stun and start running again immediately after it wears off. This, especially for new players, is confusing and can lead to people getting killed when they think that the Waff is going to kill those zombies. There's also countless times in BO3 where when using the Wunderwaffe, you get ghost shots.
I don't like it.
It doesn't connect with a zombie, even when you direct impact them. And it will not
I feel
cause
nothing
the
when I
chain
get from the
lightning to
box.
happen. And with
So I
the
think
slow
that's...
fire rate, limited ammo, and the reload speed of the Waff can easily get you down. This is because of a long-standing bug that spans across multiple COD games where splash damage just flat out doesn't work on certain surfaces. These major issues I've pointed out can make certain downs feel like
Major? Saying any of these are a major issue is crazy.
it wasn't your fault at all.
It's
My
one...
leading theory is that they made the Wunderwaffe in this game do purely splash damage to make it feel more consistent, and also so you wouldn't need to direct impact zombies to get those chain lightnings, in an effort to essentially buff it, likely due to the...
Oh, they just made the initial thing also do splash damage. You not know how splash damage works?
faster pace of BO3. Unfortunately, this just ends up being the worst of all worlds because of the game engine. This is one of the most inconsistent wonder weapons of all time, when it really shouldn't be.
It does feel like
Instead,
shit.
Treyarch should have just made the Wunderwaffe in BO3
Half the
closer
shit
to
you
its
mentioned don't
BO1
matter.
counterpart, because that was by far the best feeling version to use. The bug with the splash
I never liked
damage
the
in
Wunderwaffe.
particular
I've
has
always thought it felt
existed
like
since
shit.
BO1, maybe
Even in BO1.
earlier as far as I know. So Treyarch making the wonder weapon of all things function this way is extremely short-sighted, and these issues should have been fixed during the life cycle of the game, but
Is it even on any other map?
What, the Wunderwaffe?
It's on Revelations.
It's on Web Revelations, it's on Chino Numa, it's on, it's on Verrucht. It's...
No, I mean base game map. Like, for Black Ops 3. So, it's like... Calling it a major issue is crazy.
But it's like the only wonder weapon on this one, outside the ray gun, and are you using the ray gun in BO3? Let's have a serious conversation.
No, I'm getting my gun double pack. I'm using that. I'm not using this shit either. I'm putting it back in the box.
I think he touches on that later, which is a fair point. I think...
alas, let's move on.
I think we're at the point where you either make all the wonder weapons do infinite damage to compensate with the alternate ammo types, or you just get rid of
By
them.
obtaining monkey bombs and throwing them into all 3 teleporters while activating them, it allows you to press a button and spawn. This makes the robot outside of the map fire a laser that reflects off the facility sign to reveal a hidden perk buried under some snow. While a cool addition on the surface to add a new perk machine that previously wasn't on either version of Doris, The problem with this new side quest is it's completely random what perk is on the map, and this is predetermined when you start a match. It's 50-50 between Stamina Up, which is an extremely valuable perk in Black Ops 3 at all times, and Deadshot, which is a perk that is damn near useless at best and does absolutely...
Bro, why are you getting Stamina Up on this small-ass map? I'm gonna be so
No,
real.
he touches on it. Apparently, when you do the slide cancel and the G-slide shit, right, it recharges your sprint for stamina. I forgot. He made some point about it, which actively contributes to why stamina is a valid pick. And also, you know, just for, like, how high rounding and training. It's definitely a fair point, because, like, having it only cycle... Like, he brings up that the Wonder Fizz on Verrucht, which I didn't even know, only cycles between fucking double tap and fucking Deadshot.
I don't...
Or no, it's on Ascension. It's on Ascension. It cycles only... In the Wonder Fizz, it is literally only Deadshot Daiquiri and fucking double tap. You can't get any other perk from the Wonder Fizz but those two.
Why? Huh, that is an odd choice.
absolutely nothing.
I'd be pissed if I did all this and got fucking Deadshot.
Interesting if it was Stamina Up or Widow's
Wine
on a cycle, then it might have actually been a choice. However, don't take that suggestion as an endorsement. I'd rather have the perk be static and never change. It's especially annoying when you realize that this is the only map in zombie history to make it completely random if a perk is on it or not. Aesthetically, the snow on the giant takes away from the map's original style and oppressive atmosphere. Personally, I think heavy rain and clouds would have fit the map better, although Shadows of Evil already hit on that beat. The best compromise for the giant would have been to set it at daytime, midday specifically.
That would have been interesting, honestly.
This change alone, while minor on the surface,
I don't like how all the remakes look damn near the exact same. I wish they kind of did a little more with it.
Black Ops 3. Regardless, the choice of
I guess I never had an issue with it. I think
the next map was
cool.
Also snowy. By the time that we got a map that didn't have snow, myself and many others were sick of snow.
Dude, it's such a small thing. Who cares?
No, that's kind of real. That's part of the reason why I don't like DE. Having all these maps be back-to-back, Origins, the Giant, DE, all being snow-based maps. I love the snow, IRL, but like in these games, it kind of just low-key, it blends all the maps together, like in my head a little bit.
I've never even considered the Giant a snowy map. It's just a non-factor to me. Like, it's a map that just happens to have snow on it. That, like, DEE, I'd say is a bit of a snowy map. And then I think the weather cycle and fucking Origins is dog shit.
Yeah.
That's just mad annoying. So it's like I don't consider Origins a snowy map either. It's a map where sometimes it's snowy.
Giant without thinking of the opportunities they had to expand the facility, add more traps, and add an actual main quest to the map without alienating those casual players I mentioned earlier. The Giant in Black Ops 3 could have also
I'm gonna take a shower. I'll be back before the game comes out.
Alright, retroactively introduce
farewell.
To make it feel more like classic Derice. One small example, the fact that the PPSH isn't in this version of
fair
the
point.
map,
Honest God, fair point.
I know the
That's a fair point.
version is also guilty of this, but when you consider that they added
credit where credit is due
to this map late into the life cycle, it makes it sting so much more.
Yeah, I wonder why they didn't do that.
The Giant was an alright playground to familiarize yourself with Black Ops 3's mechanics and weapons, but it had very little staying power compared to Derice. While it certainly...
Let's be for real. What staying power did Derice have unless you were playing that shit as the maps came out? Or, like, you've never played zombies and you play all the maps in order. Be fucking for real. What staying power does Derice have?
I don't know. I think the point of whenever I hop in this game, I'm like, oh yeah, the Giant is a map in this game, huh? And that's literally it.
The Giant is my brain off map in fucking Black Ops 3. It's probably one of my most played Black Ops 3 maps. That's just because, like, if I'm playing zombies solo, I'm either playing on like the Giant, Kino, or Horizon Drop.
It made Black Ops 3's launch period more bearable for many. In terms of this weird middle ground between a remake and a remaster, it fails at both.
What do you mean middle ground? It's just a No, it is literally just a remake of the map. It's not a middle. A remaster means it reuses some of the old stuff. No, this is like it is literally just remade from the ground up in an entirely new engine, different. Like you're just.
But I mean, he's bringing that up
objectively
as a point that I guess he feels like they could have done more with it, especially when they don't bring back the weapons that they introduce later into the game.
I guess, but then the way he worded that is stupid because it's not a middle ground between a remake or a remaster. It's just a remake. Like they added the Annihilator side quest, they added the main like Easter egg that you get the worm from. It's not long or that deep.
Isn't that literally the Annihilator?
Yeah, the Annihilator.
I think this is the one he's been the least disingenuous, I guess.
Oh no, I definitely agree because Shadows of Evil he was talking out of his ass for the entire map. He made what, 2 good points, and even those 2 good points were just like okay.
Let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook.
I'm not excited for this. I'm gonna get so pissed, dude.
30 minutes. Let him cook. Let bro cook.
30 minutes of the video. I started recording 12 minutes in, and the recording's already over an hour long.
Let him cook. Let him cook. Trust.
Dude, Dude, who knows? Maybe he likes this map. Who knows? Maybe he thinks this map is good.
DE is underwhelming and disappointing.
Unambitious and uninteresting.
You blow up the fucking moon in it. You blow up the fucking moon in it. Unambitious. How do you? Also, I'm pretty sure you say the same exact thing about Shadows of Evil, like word for word. He's gonna say unambitious and uninteresting.
Sequel to Origins.
Oh wait,
sequel!
Rock is a pretty unambitious and uninteresting sequel to Origins. That's right, folks. You seeing a pattern with these first 3 maps?
The pattern is you're just.
What do you mean by sequel?
That's like calling. What? How is it a sequel?
Blood of the Dead is a sequel to Mob of the Dead in the sense that it's a spiritual successor / spiritual fucking remake. What do you mean by and he says these 3, so is he referring to the giant fucking Shadows?
The giant. The giant is just a remake. It's not a sequel. And Shadows isn't a sequel either. It takes a lot of ideas.
I guarantee he's gonna bring up the point. He's gonna bring up the bows and compare it to the staffs and be like, the staffs are better, even though you aren't using 2 of the staffs unless you playing in a squad of 4 and you're the fucking loser who gets stuck with the fucking wind staff.
No, literally, and it's like even the wolf bow, the worst bow, is still viable until like round 50, I think, which like way longer than the fucking wind staff that goes out at round 23.
They're relying on familiarity over new ideas to entice people to stick with the game. And as we're going to discuss,
I don't know, I view that point like shit like the giant robots is like a building continuity in the series already using shit that's pre-established instead of just relying on nostalgia. Especially because BO2 was the last game.
Yeah, so it's like these are still a relatively new idea.
Is the most successful of the 3 at doing that, while still not really rising above its predecessor in any way.
Dude, in any way, it's crazy. In any way, it's crazy. The bows are, like, objectively better than the staff. In terms of numbers. I think they look way cooler, too. I think, design-wise, they fucking blow them out of the water.
Disingenuous map design problems start as soon as you spawn in. As a regression from Shadows of Evil, where you had 3 different choices as to where you could go beyond the first door, even though it was the illusion of choice because you had to go those 3 ways anyway. In Disingenuous, if we're being realistic, only has 1 way to go from spawn.
Dude.
Womp womp.
1, your favorite map, Mob of the Dead, only has 1 way to go from spawn. Actually, no, it does. It's the same thing. It has two ways, but the other way is fucking dog shit, so you're never gonna go that way.
Because to get to the nearest dragon head, the door to your left takes 3 doors, whereas the path...
Dude, Mom has literally the exact same thing!
to the right only requires 2, which further cements the sameness every time you play this map.
Mom, that's the exact same thing! Don't get about!
You're taking the exact same path, doing the exact same things for...
Also,
me when I get on Mob of the Dead to get the Hell's Retriever, and I have to do the 3 dragon heads?
No, they're dogs, and actually, I think dogs are cooler than dragons, so that means it's better. That's what I... How much you want to bet he's gonna say that? He's gonna say that the dragons are boring in compared to the dogs.
Let's
10
just...
minutes every single time you play this map, just like, you guessed it, Shadows of Evil, with somehow even
Hey, Mob does that
less
same thing,
variety
though.
and player
Mob does that same thing.
You were talking about how good Mob is.
Origins, where you gotta turn on all the generators?
Yeah, like, this is just a zombies thing. This isn't, like, you're critiquing the core gameplay loop of the fucking mode. You just don't like zombies. Or you're being disingenuous.
choice.
I'm gonna
A lot
send
of
this
the
to the
things that
dude.
I've said here are common criticisms for Origins. However, I'd argue that map is far more cooperative and dynamic.
He better say how. He better say how.
The difference in gameplay starts as soon as you spawn in on that map, because unlike the bow, the unupgraded staves all require different steps to obtain them.
You mean the part where I gotta hold a zombie for 30 minutes so I can get a nigga on the tank, so I can wait for all 3 robots to show up, so I can pray the fucking god it's snowing on the fucking map so I can get the ice staff parts, and then get 3 of those built, and then do their upgrade process, put them in the crazy place, so then I can also do that while starting to get the kills so I can start the fire staff. Is that really what we're talking about here? In a cooperative game sense?
Like, dude, he's just meat writing here. Like, this is just meat writing. This is like, having all of the upgrades start from the same process is objectively a better choice because it takes less time to set up. Like, and it lets you be more creative with the steps later down the line than having to stretch out a process where most of the steps are fucking boring as shit, tedious, and the last step is the same. Well, I mean, the bow's last step is the same too, it's soul chest, but if you want to be technically, but then the last step for the bows is all, or the staves is also soul chest. So the last 2 steps are the same. The upgrading the staves are the same. So this isn't the stupid fucking point.
The
It's just
randomness
stupid.
of the robots for the wind staff parts, the snow rounds and needing a shovel for the ice staff parts, and needing a...
You were literally critiquing Shadows for having these random elements. Saying you didn't like it.
buddy to help you get those last 2 lightning staff parts if you don't have stamina up. Makes every match of Origins feel fresh, even though you...
No, it doesn't! No, the fuck it doesn't! You're literally fucking lying! You're literally fucking lying!
Nobody likes that! Nobody likes that! Everybody thinks it's annoying! That's like one of the most common complaints with Origins!
We're doing the same things every time. It really was as close to a perfect formula as you could get with that.
What are you talking about? What? Dude, keep bouncing on that shit. The bro is choking on it. Like, what? You were just critiquing Shadows for having those random, inconsistent elements.
That map, because I never got bored of it. I played that map solely for a year straight, waiting for Black Ops 3 to come out. Let's talk about those dragon heads, shall we? To obtain the initial
And he hasn't played
form of the
Origins since.
Wunderweapon on Drazendrock, the Wrath of the Ancients, the player must feed 3 dragon heads around the map. This is basically a copy-paste of the dog heads from Mob of the Dead,
And
without
people like
any
it.
of the thought and consideration. The dog heads on Mob for
What is he gonna say about the dog heads? What is he gonna say about
zombies at the time was a primitive but effective way of introducing a simple quest-style reward in zombies. An important thing to mention is that in Mob of the Dead, the order in which you did these things was very much in the player's hands. The dog
It is in Drazendrock too. You can do them in any order. You don't have to do them in any order. That's what the other route is for. So you can start in the fucking church instead of in the courtyard.
heads were spread across a big map and in some pretty tight spaces that would pressure the player to kill maybe a few extra zombies out of necessity to survive, especially if you didn't have Joe.
Just hoard them up and then take them in. Are you stupid?
Well on the map,
You
making
know
the
what,
gameplay of feeding the dogs
He's
much
just
more
bad at the
dynamic.
game.
Mob of the Dead had incredible pacing. It always felt like you were moving forward. Things were placed in exactly the right spots. You had options as to how you or your teammates wanted to go about it. And the
You can't just say this. You have to provide examples.
I don't know in what world are we playing Mob of the Dead and we're not buying the door in the fucking second room, going up the stairs, doing the first dog head, then going to the roof, then doing that dog head, and then you go to the fucking docks from the gondola and doing that last one. What are you talking about? It's the same as in fucking the Drazendrock. You open the 2 doors like you mentioned, do that dog head, then what? You go to the church, and then you go to the fucking last one in the mound middle part where one of the pack-a-punch. Yeah.
It's like he's just being disingenuous. Like he genuinely.
The dog heads complemented the map incredibly well. Drazendrock is a perfect example of why mechanics on one map don't always translate to another. That's because Drazendrock has very little to do before the dragon heads are fed, and is a much smaller map in comparison.
What are you doing before the fucking shit in Mob? Nigga, you're opening the 2 doors and doing the dragon
It is
head!
literally the first fucking thing you see that sticks out on Mob besides the Afterlife. And you can't fucking count the Afterlife as doing a thing because the only thing you get before the doghead is a double points in the fucking tutorial for the thing!
With the doors being very cheap as well, it means that after the first dragon head,
Cheap in Mob too! To get to the first one!
if you're even remotely decent at building points, you'll have more than enough to buy your way to the power switch, which will lead you to the next 2 dragon heads. The reality is that unless you've literally
It's the same thing!
never played the map before, you're going to have all the heads filled on a low round. And unlike mobs, they're all in wide open areas that are easy to train in. It makes
You just showed a wide open area that's easy to train in. Like,
The docks is the easiest one to do that shit in.
Docks is the easiest one. The first one is easy because you're always doing it at a low round, so it doesn't matter. The only one that's even mildly hard, and notice I say mildly because it's not fucking hard at all, and it's really easy, is the one that's in like the medical room thingy, whatever the fuck it's called, I can't remember.
this activity which would provide some unique gameplay challenges because of Mob's excellent layout and map pacing, just another series of tedious soul boxes that are mind-numbing to get through.
That's a fair point. I hate the shit being 1x1. I would much rather it be a soul box. I'm keeping it so real.
Oh, no, yeah, no, but like you can't praise Mob for it and then say, Mob just does it better, and then like refuse, and then don't provide any examples. The map is laid out better. Okay, how is the map laid out better? What does it do? And then what does Shadow or Drazendrock do that makes the layout bad? Oh, there's one route that's faster. Okay, Mob has the exact same thing. Literally,
He was trying to argue that it
thing.
makes it harder because you're in a tight space and you might need to kill more zombies than you would like to survive. But even then, just be a good player, hoard up, go in. Like every area has like an in and an out route. I don't get this point.
Yeah, no, like literally the first fucking dog on Mob that has 2 giant entrances and exits that you can leave at any time. If you're caught in a fucking pinch. And it's like, unless you go into the tiny areas on the side, which you should never go to, because it's a fucking death trap, same as every goddamn map. Don't go into the corners. It's like... It sounds like he's just bad at the game.
Every match. Just like the eggs on Shadows, the dragon heads slow down the map down to a crawl.
And the dogs don't?
When I got the Hell's Retriever after going through the map, feeding the dog heads, alongside getting the plane parts, I felt accomplished. Here, when I get the Wrath of the Ancients, I say, thank God that boring garbage is over.
The boring garbage you do in 3 rounds compared to having to run up and down several times to... Just play the video. I don't fucking care, bro.
It's like that sentence is just hypocrisy. It's just genuine hypocrisy. There was not a single point made there because everything he fucking said, Mob does the exact same fucking thing.
It's shallow, lazy, and wastes everyone's time.
Exact same thing in Mob.
There are far better ways the player could have obtained the unupgraded bow than this shameless and poor...
Alright, give one. Right now.
It honestly feels like Treyarch has no idea why Mob of the Dead worked, not just thematically, but from a gameplay standpoint too.
I don't think you need to kill all those zombies in that clip right there. I don't know. You were in a moderately open area. You could have cut back. You could have got rid of the death machine. I don't think you need to kill them zombies right there, man. It sounds like you're just giving me a resounding skill plus issue. I think that's the problem here.
This is clear evidence of that.
No, it's not. You just said things that Mob does and then said, but it's okay when Mob does. And then didn't provide any reasoning why. And blatantly lied. Also, about the fucking 2 doors. So the Mob has a second door you can buy. Take a different route. So
this map, similar to the Giant, has dogs and dog rounds. And the only reason I am mentioning the special rounds, unlike the other maps, is because of how infrequently the dog rounds happen, and the problem that comes from having them on this map. For whatever reason, on Drak, dog rounds happen every 8 to 10 rounds, instead of the typical 5 to 7 range that every special enemy round normally happens on.
What is wrong with that?
With the exception of the first dog round, which do happen in the normal 5 to 7 range. So, for higher rounds,
what is wrong with
dog
that?
rounds almost worthless and unreliable, and on low rounds, it's extremely irritating because...
How does it make it worthless and unreliable?
It's a free max ammo. What do you mean?
What the fuck are you talking about? You're complaining for the sake of complaining. If you can't manage your ammo enough to last that long, kill issue. Should have played better.
With multiple traps on it?
Yeah, just play. You're not using traps enough if you can't last 8 to 10 rounds. Play better. Horizon Drak is one of the easiest maps in the game. Just wait for your rags to recharge, get all the zombies trained up, bam, pop a trap.
The alternate ammo types in question?
Because Horizon Drak has quite a few soul boxes, as we just went over with the bow. And it's a giant buzzkill and a waste of everyone's time when on round 5 or 6, dogs come in only for most people to still be doing the soul box part of their bows.
The exact same thing in Mob. The exact same thing. There's no difference. The only difference is the fucking bow is better than the Hell's Redeemer. So you want to get the bow sooner. Because you can beeline the Hell's Redeemer. But, why would you? It's you don't need it that early. Yeah, just do it as you unlock the map. I don't know what else to say about it.
Especially compared to Mob of the Dead, already has really bad pacing in its setup. And this just...
But you haven't said how. The dragons slow it down, okay. So do the dogheads.
Makes it even worse. You have to wonder why dogs are even on this map at all. Because it's the worst of both worlds, and they aren't even...
They give you a max ammo! That's fine!
Enemies. It only detracts by having them there, and yet Treyarch put them on the map anyways.
So you can use your bow more! to get
You may think
consistent
with the
ammo.
criticism and of the Dragon Heads that, oh, it's just 15 to 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. The dog round is only
Dude, in what world is it taking you 15 to 20 minutes to get the bow? If actually it's taking you more than 5, you're just bad at the game.
What, the first bow?
Yeah, to get the first bow. To fully upgrade a bow, okay, 15 to 20 minutes. But, like, it's the same in Origins. Except, if you're trying to upgrade all the bows, it takes even longer, because you have to fucking... Dude, oh my god.
1 to 2 minutes, so it's fine. The other aspects of the map are far more important. I fundamentally disagree.
Why?
Here's why.
Or being wrong.
This is game design 101. It's what designers...
Dude, I can't wait to hear what he's about to say. Because he has never taken a game design class. He has never made a game. He has never worked on a game. And he knows nobody who does any of those things. So I can't wait to hear this.
Think and spend hours talking about when making games. Because it's not just one round or 10 minutes to one person. It becomes the collective experience of hundreds of thousands or even millions of people in your game.
You're saying this about the most popular zombies map of all time. This is, like, most of the community considers this the best map. If you pulled 100 zombie players, it would get the most votes. It is the most popular map, objectively.
Game for years to come. That's why devs care about what they're making. And it's why criticisms like this are extremely important.
Criticism is important for a map. The Rising Drop does have problems. You can say that the Dragons had slowed down early game and makes it a slog. That's fair. But you can't say that and then immediately say it's okay when Mob does it. That's why you sound dumb. Not because the criticism isn't inherently a valid criticism, because you're saying it's okay in a different scenario that is exactly the same. That's why you sound stupid.
It all matters. Not to get off topic, but I felt that needed to be said.
Not to get off topic.
The Panzer returns in this map as yet another sign of a real lack in creativity. This version,
I'll give him that. The Panzer didn't need to be on this map.
Just
the Panzer didn't, and I think
if we go back to
lazy.
BO2
Yeah, I think the
you could easily
Panzer
high-round
is
Panzers with
not
just
very
your
good.
wonder weapons, or any pack gun with double tap. Really, they removed his claw hand and replaced it with shock charges, which are really annoying. They also have god-tier tracking.
Fair.
Giving him a ranged option makes it so he gets easy and often unearned damage on the player. Treyarch took all of the skill out of fighting this enemy.
I don't know what skill besides just point and shoot, but I mean,
dude,
he was cooking. He was cooking.
He had me until he said it took all this skill out of fight. Bro, it's a Panzer. What
Point and shoot.
Skill? You shoot it in the mast with your wonder weapon, and it dies instantly. It's only a problem early game. And in both the Rise and Drop and in Origins, you can get the wonder weapon and instantly kill it. He was making some good points for a second, and then he just had to say something stupid again.
The Panzer on BO2 was a range game of keeping distance, dodging his claw hand, and if you did get grabbed, quickly shooting the red light that was
The first time it shows up, and only that time.
displayed.
Assuming you're trying to get, like, the fire staff first. That is the only... Like, you are just being very disingenuous with your presentation yet again, and...
Here, there's no such gameplay depth with this Panzer. Pretty much the only viable way to kill him quickly now at high rounds is with a...
with your bow.
packed shotgun, shooting directly into the...
With the fucking bow. The bow is melting. Rising Drunk.
Maybe he brings it up. Maybe he brings it up.
Easiest round 100.
The power core on his chest while he's lifted up when you activate the death ray. When making a boss completely immobile is the only reasonable way to kill it, you've made it pretty...
Only reasonable is crazy.
You're just bad at the fucking game!
He don't know how to play and shoot.
Dude!
I know it's hard on controller,
I can't
man.
believe I'm saying this,
We gonna
but
get you a keyboard
the
and mouse
Margwa is
one
leaps
day.
and bounds above the Panzer in terms of design. This is yet another example of Treyarch just not getting it. One small
No,
thing
this
to
is
note
another
the
example of you
danger
just being
closest to
bad at the
Gobblegum
fucking
makes you immune
game.
to explosive
Holy
damage will actually
shit,
make you
how
immune to
is
the Panzer's
this
shock
bad?
charges. It doesn't save this mini-boss, but it makes him a lot more tolerable. However,
Dude, wait,
considering
wait,
that
is he
the vast
saying it's
majority of
harder?
players aren't going
Is he saying the Panzer is hard? No way! Dude, this guy, oh my god. Wait, also he just didn't mention the golden plunger. Does he not know it exists?
I don't think he got internet, man. I don't know how he uploaded this video. I think he sent it through his mind.
So fucking bad at the game!
to run that, my points still stand.
Oh my god, how are you this
Now,
fucking
let's go over some of the
stupid?
side Easter eggs on this map real quick, just like Shadow.
He might bring it up.
We'll
He might
start
bring it
off
up.
with the
Oh.
Panzer Claw helmet, since we just talked about the Panzer. This is basically the Margwa mask equivalent for this map.
Except
However,
it's easy to get.
much worse and far more pointless. You need to find these hidden Panzer claws around the map and
Okay.
launch them into 3 Panzers and kill them with it to get the helmet.
And then
Now,
one shot the Panzer. I heard the thing you were just complaining about. Oh, it's too hard to kill.
This is the fun part. It only reduces the damage of the Panzer's melee attack.
Okay,
not
that's
his
dumb.
flamethrower or his
Okay.
shock charges, which are,
But
you
it-
know,
It gives you 3 free Panzer kills, too. Especially early game, which is very valuable. It helps you get set up a lot easier if you don't have the bow, which you should have the bow by round 8.
I think by round 6 you should have the fucking phone.
Yeah, like, the only one you get a pass on is the fucking Void Bow, because that one is literally RNG. If you can proceed. So, okay. Everything else is a skill issue. Like, you can get the fucking Lightning Bow literally on round 1. Because of the zombie duplication glitch. If you really wanted to. And you're saying, oh, it's a glitch! You talked about, or you said he talks about the stamina glitch later, so...
Or not glitch. I know he touches on one point when Moon got remade. He was talking about how they took out one glitch where you could have like infinite air or something.
Yeah,
He
so
was
it's
like,
like-
damn, I wish it was there.
It's a glitch that positively affects the map. So why?
the most lethal and annoying parts of the new Panzer. Good job, Treyarch.
And also, it's really easy to get. Why would they give you big benefits for something that's literally just shoot it at a Panzer and get a free Panzer kill? Why would they give you a good effect? That's not how game balance works. You don't take a fucking game design class if you want to talk about it. You fucking moron.
Next, we have the Plunger,
Oh.
which if you're running this map's Easter
Okay.
egg with a squad, you know there's always a guy who wants to get this stupid thing. To get the Plunger, you need to
Yoda,
plant the
sweet.
Ragnaroks on the clock tower. This will cause the hand to
No, we
start
didn't get
moving,
it.
and you need to activate the switch on the clock tower
Yeah,
to
we
stop the hands on
I've gotten it on my
935.
Xbox, but
You then need to go into the underground
Which is-
section.
Panzers
and
are
wall
easy
right
as
next
fuck
the
to kill,
pyramid,
so I don't
and
need
you'll
to
be
get it.
teleported into the same room during the Easter egg where you can grab it off the table. The Plunger makes it so when you kill the Panzer, it will glow with fire for a short time, then when you melee a Panzer, it will insta-kill it. First off, doing this in solo is just awful, as I'm sure you can imagine. You basically need to just guess where the hand is. It's really dumb. Secondly, a huge design fail with this is that the Panzers are actually
No, you don't. You just learn the timing. There's plenty of guides online. You look up a YouTube video, and you find out where you have to start running up and hit the button. From outside. Like... Are you stupid? Like, that's all I can keep saying, because so many of his points are just him being dumb and bad.
kind of hard to melee. It feels really buggy. Just like trying to kill the Margwas with the sword on Shadows, this feels equally dumb, because the Panzers are just as lethal at close range.
Because that's not a golden plunger, you fucking retard! In that clip, that is a regular ass plunger! It doesn't one shot! You're just doing a regular melee! The golden plunger is a fucking AoE! He's
And
so
if you miss
stupid.
this thing,
Like,
you'll
he's
die
objectively
almost
wrong
every
about
single time. I hate everything about this thing. The quest sucks, it's finicky, it gets you killed, it looks dumb, it's totally out of place. My advice, just don't even
Bro
bother
complains about silly, fun thing in zombies. Oh my god. He's gonna complain about the disco Easter egg.
with this thing. The free Gobblegum returns from Shadows. This one's a little easier to do. You just need to grab this plant in the tele-
Easier? I mean... No! Because in Shadows, all you have to do is buy Widow's Wine and throw it in the mouth. And you lose Widows for 1 round. Oh no, not even, because you just kill zombies and get Widows back. This one you have to go shoot the Wisp, it's annoying. The Wisp got repetitive, it got overused. That's another valid critique of Shadow, or not Shadows, of Horizon Rock that he's going to bring up, and I'm going to agree with him. Because that's a good, fair point, and not in bad taste. Or not taste, bad faith.
teleporter room, and when you go back in time during the Easter egg, just put it where you picked it up. Then when you come back, you can grab a free random Mega Gobblegum from the fully grown plant. For whatever reason, not to spoil anything, but this would be the last map to have a free Mega Gobblegum Easter egg. I guess they took them out because it lost Activision a couple bucks in liquid divinium sales, so I guess it had to go.
Or they
There's
just
a
didn't
small
want to do
side
it. I
Easter
don't
egg
know.
with the in plain sight
Or they,
Gobblegum.
or they just couldn't figure out, like, oh wait, it include it over other stuff, considering the end of Black Ops 3 was notoriously crunched. So they probably just didn't have time for, like, something like that.
Turns all zombies into skeletons. You shoot 3 skulls with an upgraded bow, and bam! That's it. It's cool, but
Yeah.
why? The skeleton
Dude,
Because it's fun!
because it's a side Easter egg! You just don't like zombies! You can't say, why? Every map has fucking the music Easter eggs. Why? What's the point in that? There's no real reason. It's just fun. Like, dude, what's your problem? How miserable are you?
Skeletons are quieter than the zombies, they have worse hit feedback when you shoot them, and they're harder to see, so they...
It's almost like they weren't intended for the mode, and it's a fun little side Easter egg. And oh, as a bonus, it actually makes things harder. Even if it is through accident. Cool.
actually make the game more difficult. But hey, it's there if you want it, so yeah.
Also, why are you meleeing them? Like,
I don't
as if
think
that-
I don't think he has internet.
Side quests in this map are just as
Like-
pitiful and pointless as Shadows.
I've never even done that one. I just know about it because it's like, oh, it's just a cool little
Let's
fun
try to
side
be a
thing.
little more positive. A gameplay strength for Horizon Rock is in its map layout. This
Oh?
map, alongside its bow
Okay.
variety, which we're going to go over very soon,
Wait, didn't you say the map layout earlier sucks?
No, I think he said progression.
Oh, map progression. Yeah, that's true. He said that, not layout.
quite nicely accommodate both training and camping playstyles, and there's an abundance of spots for both. The fast travels are very convenient. A personal favorite of mine is when it launches you up from the Undercroft into the courtyard. While the overall layout does make the map quite easy, it's refreshing to be able to just switch locations on the fly for gameplay variety, regardless of the round, and not suffer as a result. I also really like the death ray area and the trap itself. It makes a great training spot even better. Outside of the Panzer, this map has pretty fun high rounds. The sheer number of ways you can get to round 100 plus is pretty commendable. So now, let's discuss the Wonder
Being
Weapons.
positive. Oh, he's gonna shit on the bows. He's gonna say they're boring
After
and just
obtaining
copies
the
of these and
Ancients,
the
there are 4 elemental
stabs.
upgrades the player can choose from. For the sake of time, unlike everything else, I'm not going to go in depth with all of these upgrade quests because it would take way too long. But I do want to say broadly that these quests are the highlight of the map. I
Oh,
think
he
they're
likes the
pretty well
quests.
designed, and honestly, they're a lot more fun to do than the main Easter egg. Like, I really enjoy the kind of friendly rivalry.
I mean, the main Easter egg does have whiz step. It does have the whiz step. And
No,
that step
but,
kind of
like,
blows.
They're a part of the Easter egg. So, like, saying they're more fun to do than the Easter egg, they're a part of the Easter egg.
But I mean, it's kind of like getting the eggs in Shadows. Like, you can do them without having to do the main Easter egg kind of thing. It's like, I'd rather have to do that than just do the Easter egg.
I guess, but I feel like saying, oh, they're better than the Easter egg when they're a part of the Easter egg, it feels a bit I don't know. It just feels more disingenuous, just as it has been.
Of seeing who
It feels like, oh, they're cutting the Easter egg in half to mitigate its, like, the good parts of it.
First. And just to briefly touch on the quests, they can all be done fairly quickly if all players are of equal skill level. I've run DE a lot, and honest to God, it's usually a different bow that's finished every game, and I think that that's a good sign of a well-designed quest.
It is always lightning first. Let's be so for real. Maybe wolf sometimes, but lightning is so easy.
I want to talk about the 4 bows individually and hopefully dispel
I agree. Good map design.
Some of the long-standing myths in the community about these wonder weapons. Which is why the first thing I want to say is that the lightning bow is not that good.
Dude, it's objectively the best in terms of numbers. It kills for the longest. And kills the most. Like, this right here just shows how bad you are at the game.
Some of you may know, the lightning bow was hit with a nerf shortly after the map came out. This nerf increases the killing time of the lightning tornado after round 27.
And it's still the best.
Here. I go from round 26 to round 27, and as you can see, it's killing a lot slower past that point.
The game gets harder, more rounds pass!
For this reason, after round 27, this makes the lightning bow the only bow that cannot kill a full horde of 24 zombies in one charge shot. Also, because of how slow they die, it makes it...
Okay, now go to round 50. Go to round 70. It just has a more extended lifespan. That's why it doesn't do that at that time. Because it has less fall-off later in return for earlier fall-off. Man discovers game design yet again.
It's quite bad for training. Another downside to this
skill issue, genuinely.
Bow, and for this reason I think it's pretty bad for the Easter egg, is that it's not that great at killing panzers. Sure,
it holds them in the air. Like all the bows do. It's fine for killing panzers. I've never struggled with a panzer. Except in the fucking boss fight, when there's like 5 of them. And even then, we've beaten the Easter egg more than we haven't.
It lifts them and does a tiny bit of damage.
We hop on and just like, oh, y'all want to do the DE Easter egg for fun because it's easy?
But this effect is quite redundant when the
and
Death Ray and
quick. It only takes like
already do
2-ish
this
hours.
And do it way better and more consistently.
Okay, but what if your Ragnaroks aren't charged?
Basically what I'm saying is, this bow is very overrated. You should only use it to camp and nothing else.
Wait till he learns out what the optimal round 100 strategy is.
The wolf bow, in my opinion, is by far the least fun to use. First off, the wolf bow does not have any kind of area of effect damage with its charge shot. It shoots out...
I think Void Bow is the least fun to use.
No, I think Void is the least fun to get. But once you get it, it's kind of fun to use.
A very narrow,
welcome back,
facing cone that even with a full horde bunched up can still miss a few zombies. Damage to the panzers on this bow is really poor too. It might even be the...
It does the most damage to panzers out of all the bows. You're wrong. Like, objectively. Look it up. You did no research. You did no fucking research.
The worst in that category, to be honest. Something that wasn't...
For what? It does the fucking most! It does the most... Like, that's just a fact. It is, like, a well-known thing, too. Ask anyone who has played the map more than a few times what mode is the most... Like, anyone who calls themselves a zombies player. And they should know that. How do you have 2,000 hours in the game and not know that? Were all your hours on multiplayer?
Wasn't discovered until quite recently is that for whatever reason, the wolf bow does 1 damage to the keeper boss at the end of the Easter egg.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
You heard that right. 1
One
damage.
whole damage.
This
is-
makes the wolf bow by
That's
far and away
fire.
the worst bow to
That's
Easter
funny.
egg with. Also, unlike the other bows, the lack of any kind of lingering effects makes this one only really decent at one thing, and that's training. Even then, though, I still don't really ever want this.
I like the wolf.
Even with the
Wolf bow.
downsides of the lightning that we just
I
went over,
mean, I think it's
this
the
is
worst,
without
and
a
I
doubt the
don't use
worst
it very
bow
often.
by a
But
pretty wide margin. In the grand scheme of wonder weapons, it's still decent, but not great.
oh, wait, Leland, when did you come back?
Like a few minutes ago.
Did you hear him talk about the lightning bow?
No.
He said it's bad.
Oh my god, bro.
No,
Why?
dude. Because it takes longer to kill zombies after round 27. As if it doesn't have the longest, like, the lowest damage wall. It lasts the longest out of all the bows.
That's crazy, bro.
It's also easier to get. And in later rounds, you save more ammo with it because it takes out more zombies. And he spent like 5 minutes complaining that the panzers were too hard in Horizon Rock.
Are you kidding?
Dude, it's so funny.
Dude,
Oh, it was
this
so,
fucking guy's just bad at the game.
no, it was funny because he was complaining about them. And it was like, oh, and then unlike Origins, you don't have a way to play it close to them and then range it out. Oh, and talk about the golden plunger, not kill it, or talk about the golden plunger being inconsistent. And he was using the regular plunger in the clip.
Bro.
Like, you can't make it up. Like, also, it's fucking Horizon Rock, one of the easiest maps in zombies.
Yeah.
We talked about how the lightning bow was nerfed. The void bow, on the other hand, got a massive buff after the map came out. I honestly love it. It ticks all the boxes for me. It feels like no other wonder weapon that we've had before in zombies. I love how far and fast the skulls travel. It makes the radius at which the void bow will get kills absolutely ridiculous. You can shoot it in the courtyard and it will kill zombies all the way up to the death ray. It's
God
also
damn.
great against panzers, and because of the lingering skulls, it's really good for Easter egg and camping. It's also the best bow for training. That might catch some people off guard, but the reality is, with one charge shot, you can kill a full horde of 24, plus a few zombies from those...
Okay. Go to early rounds. Or not early rounds, go to late rounds now. Tell us how well it does then.
lingering skulls. That makes
Like, the void bow is good. I think it's the second best
only bow that can kill more than 24 zombies. That said, the void bow, if we look at every category, Easter egg runs, killing panzers, efficiency, training, camping, if we combine all of those to a flat rating, this is the best bow. Because of those skulls,
Loud,
it's super
incorrect
easy to kill a
buzzer.
steal without even trying. If you're playing this
Does
map
less
co-op
damage.
and you're running the void, if you don't have the most kills by the end of the game, you're definitely doing something wrong. Very underrated wonder weapon. The people who say it sucks are lying to you. Try it for
Also,
yourself.
he didn't mention that you can shoot the lightning bow at the ground underneath you and revive someone for free. He didn't mention that. Can't do that with any other bow. No other bow has an effect like that. I mean, sometimes with the void bow, but the skulls are inconsistent. And like, if they'll target the ones closest to you, like that.
Trust me.
So most of the time it'll work, but I've died
The
because of the
firebow
void
is
void
kind of
bow.
a
I'm not
weird
doing that.
one. It traps half of a horde with these mini volcanoes that spit fire upwards and burn zombies to death. And the zombies that aren't trapped get knocked over when you shoot it. These volcanoes actually have splash damage, and when they break apart, they will kill any zombies that are near them. So the zombies that get knocked down also die. For killing hordes, the firebow feels like a much more consistent version of the wolf bow.
Dude, he said earlier he's gotten around 100. I don't believe it. I need a VOD.
When you get a horde
I need a
killer,
fucking
it's
lot,
just
'cause
one
I don't
shot
believe him.
and everything's dead.
'Cause-
Unlike Wolf, you don't need to worry about
I don't
angles
remember
or
what
anything
round
like
it falls
that.
off,
The
any of the
radius
bows fall off
charge
except Wolf
shots
bow
is very
and
generous.
lightning bow. Oh,
Another
because then a
thing you
wolf bow
can
falls
do
off
too
around the
is lead
40s,
or
I
train
think.
running zombies
And
into
lightning
volcanoes
bow
if it
is
misses.
in the late
It will kill them
70s.
when the volcano
Mid to late
dissipates.
70s.
Another strength of the fire bow is the panzer damage. Just like the Void, this is a really solid bow for the Easter egg and the boss fight.
Also, he praised how the void bow stunned the panzer. The stun is the exact same on the 3 bows that can stun it. It's exactly the same.
Now, let's talk about the Ragnaroks. Since Treyarch decided to lazily reuse the gravity spikes from multiplayer, I'm going to keep this short. I know the bows are reused from the Sparrow in multiplayer, but that's nowhere near as blatant as they all have different effects. The only different ability with the Ragnaroks is being able to plant them down, but other than lift...
Yeah.
That's a contradiction. You criticize the bows for having a secondary feature, and then the Ragnaroks have another new feature that you can use that makes it different, and you're like, oh, that doesn't count. What?
Lifting up the Panzer, you'd never want to do this because there's a chance on higher rounds that it can bug out and make invisible zombies that are also...
I clearly remember you saying in the lightning bow part that, oh, why would you ever use the lightning bow when you can just use your Ragnaroks to do this?
invincible, which can obviously get you killed. This bug has existed since this map came out, and Treyarch never cared to fix it, sadly.
Yeah?
They're not really that useful on this map anyways, with how strong the bows are. But they had to have something be a specialist weapon, I guess.
Also didn't mention the fact that you can use it to revive a player, or get, like, a reload in, full heal, because you can just sit in the middle and you can't get hit. Like,
Other than the
okay.
Annihilator, this is easily the most lame specialist weapon in the game.
What is the fucking frame rate there? What the
Alright,
fuck? Why was it
another
running
hot
on the
take.
fucking
This map's
Nokia?
Easter egg is just okay. It's pretty basic, and there are some parts I really dislike. Although it has some annoying quirks that we'll go over.
Does he like
Right off the bat, the
the
first
orcs,
step
Easter egg?
annoys me.
That's the real question.
Why do you need to shoot the teleporter with an unupgraded bow? Why is it not an upgraded bow if that's what you need for the first step that it activates? Makes zero sense.
That's fair.
Going into the Wisp step itself, I despise it. I find it ironic that people who hate the bird step on Blood of the Dead have no issue with this, because they're basically the same step. There's way too many spawn locations, there's only one active at a time.
It takes a minute to go around the map. It takes 1 minute. Like, yeah, it's annoying having to do it so many times, but I don't think there's way
And
too
you
many
run
spawn
around the
locations. It's a natural circle around the map. You don't have to double back anywhere.
Map. It's boring and a terrible way to start the Easter egg.
Okay,
In
fair.
co-op,
Oh,
I
but also,
pray that
not the start of the Easter egg. Getting the bows is the start of the Easter egg. Same as in Origins. Getting the staves is the first step of the Easter egg.
some idiot doesn't end the round because I don't want to do this crap again. One of the worst parts of this step is that if you shoot a wisp with the unupgraded bow, it immediately fails the step and you have to end the round. However,
Fair
in
criticism.
addition to this, Treyarch thought it would be a great idea that if any explosive goes off near any of the wisp locations while the step is active, it will fail the step and you have to...
I don't think that was intentional. I think it's just the bow does explosive damage, so it results in other explosives doing it. And it's
That
also,
also
really
counts for
easy.
Windows 1.
And Windows
Which is
1,
the
yeah.
Downside.
The downside, but it's not. I don't think that's intentional.
Yeah, but it still affects the map, though.
I guess, but it's also like a non-issue. I've never had that happen.
What?
And I would just make sure to say, everyone throw away your widows if you have widows before wisps. It's like such an easy way to fix it. It's like a non-issue. Throw away widows. Oh, I'm not gonna have widows. Oh, you save last zombie, so you'll get widows back next round anyway. It's like non-issue.
to end the round. This most commonly happens with Widow's Wine grenades, and trust me, it happens a lot. It makes sense to fail the
Just throw away your widows. It's as
step
simple
with
as
the
that.
Wrath of the Ancients, but any explosive? If that's intentional on Treyarch's part, it's a horrible design choice. I don't want to do this step once. let alone twice during an Easter egg. Making me do it 3 or even 4 times because somebody's widow's wine is going off is brain dead. This is a lame step anyways. It would have been tolerable if all the wisps were active at once, and the teleporter didn't reset if the round ended after you shoot them all. Making the wisps appear one at a time, once again, feels
Also,
like padding.
Well,
After that, you need to get a save
that's
code,
fair.
play the easiest Simon Says in history, and bring the rocket down. Don't have much to say about this. It's fine. Although the rocket
it's a
test
fun
going
little
off
part.
when you're doing the second Simon Says is always irritating, but I guess putting the terminal down there was the only way they could spice up what otherwise is a pretty dull and easy step.
Yeah.
Realistically, the only way you could fail this is if you have brain damage. But once you get the rod from the rocket and the slap from the second Simon
Ironic.
Says, you need to activate the Keeper Spirit and collect souls with the upgraded bows at 4 different locations. So, here's one of those quirks I was talking about. In another master stroke from Treyarch.
You just didn't mention crashing the rocket. Or, wait, because that's not... Yeah, no, he just didn't mention that. He said after you get the summoning key. Yeah, so he
For whatever
just
reason,
didn't mention one of
if
the
the
most
match
interesting
you're in is
parts.
set to ranked, the number of upgraded bows you need to make for this step is according to how many players there are. That means in solo you only need to make 1 bow to do the step, 2 bows for 2 players, and etc, etc. But if you're playing either unranked or offline, you need to make all 4 bows regardless. Why they made it this way, I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah,
It's another
fair.
really dumb quality of this Easter egg that, in my opinion, they totally screwed up. You have no idea how many times I've done this Easter egg with a random or in a 3-player game, and the host unknowingly had it set to unranked, not realizing it messes up the Easter egg. So we get to that step, and the bow that nobody's made shows up, and we either have to restart or somebody has to scramble to make that bow at round 15 plus.
Just use your bow. It's not that hard. I agree making it only limited to ranked. They should have had it be all or nothing, just like Origins was. But saying that, oh, you have to make it at round 50, it's as if that's a hard thing to do. The only one maybe is Firebow, since you need to hit your fucking volcano shots. But even then, just have one of your teammates cover you if you're in co-op. And if you're in solo, just don't be a fucking moron.
It's inexcusable. Outside of that, though,
Inexcusable
this
is
step fine.
dramatic.
There's a rare bug that if a Panzer lands on the Keeper as it's moving between zones, it will completely break the step and you'll have to restart the entire Easter egg. But admittedly, that almost never happens. You'd almost have to go
I didn't even know
out
that
of
was
your
a
way
thing.
to
I've never
trigger
had it
it.
happen.
Still, though, it should have been fixed. I do
It
remember
should've.
people reporting it to Treyarch when the game was still receiving updates, but of course, it was never patched. Once the Keeper is done, you're ready to start the boss fight. Each player that's in the game needs to plant their Ragnaroks on a square near the pyramid to start it. Small tangent here, but if someone misses the square or they've never played the map before and not know how the Ragnaroks work, waiting for everybody to refill their specialist back up after a failed plant is extremely annoying and wastes a ton of time. Anyway, once you've done that, you'll be in the boss fight proper. It's fine for the most part. It's a little primitive because it's one of the first boss fights in Zombies. You'll have phases where the giant Keeper in the middle floats around and cycles through different attacks and spawns dogs every now and then. Once he goes to the middle, he'll charge up a one-hit kill attack that to counter you'll have to place your Ragnaroks in the middle of the room to open up his vulnerability phase. If you do enough damage during this, he'll spawn a horde of Panzers that you'll need to kill, and once that's done, it's rinse and repeat until he's dead. Voidbow is by far the best for this boss fight because it does good damage to the Panzers, and the skulls will kill every skeleton and dog that spawns during the fight. If you're just trying to beat the Easter egg solo, Void is the obvious choice. One cool detail that I appreciate is if nobody
I want to
puts
go pee because he
Ragnaroks down in
was-
time, you
wasn't
can
saying
actually
anything
avoid the
interesting.
one-hit kill attack by standing behind one of those pillars in the arena. This has saved quite a few of my runs with clueless teammates, assuming they don't instinctively dashboard. Another thing that's really helpful for this boss is the danger closest Gobblegum I mentioned earlier. It makes the Panzers powerless at range and allows you to kite them around while picking them off from a distance. After the fight, you need to grab the summoning key and take it up to where you did the first Simon Says, and bam, Easter egg is done. Let's talk about the story now. Don't worry, it's not completely awful. Yet. Dreisendrach's story starts us off with an animated cutscene, not an IGC. Presumably because the events of this cutscene would have taken a lot of effort to animate and make work in-game.
This game was notoriously rushed.
We see Primus chase down Dempsey 1.0 in one of the Origins robots they caught from the giant. Dempsey 1.0 is in the hands of the Germans in this universe, who are taking him to Dreisendrach.
I hate the fucking divide between people crying about animated cutscenes versus in-game cutscenes, dude.
Dempsey, Primus crashes the robot in the village below the castle.
They serve the same purpose.
Up to the castle. They were seemingly too late because during the first 5 seconds of the map, Dempsey is already loaded onto the rocket and on his way to the moon. Outside of the flashy intro, the main plot in this map is pretty straightforward. We get Dempsey back down to the castle, and
now he mentions it.
Everything that happens in between is mostly irrelevant to the larger narrative, and is just there for
you can say that on every map.
And so you can have a main quest on the map with some twists and turns. There are some side plots
you can say that about every map.
the Keepers, Richthofen, and Groff in this map, but none of it is really important, or at least we don't see any of the implications of these side stories in the map itself, outside of the bow quests. Despite not being relevant to the larger story, and especially to the player, I do enjoy the back and forth between Richthofen and Groff, even if its delivery is pretty heavy-handed and on the nose. It's the only time in Black Ops 3 where Primus is handled in a clever way, with Richthofen using his identity.
That's crazy.
How close are we to Class 1 coming out?
That shit comes out in an hour and 40 minutes. So
and knowledge to
we can finish this section and then jump to Revelations.
Even if it's just momentarily.
Because I really don't care what you gotta say about Zetsubo or Gorod.
Yeah, I think Zetsubo's a bad map. And Gorod, I don't have enough thoughts on. I think that map is good, I like it. I can't talk about it for very long because it's, I don't know, it's just a solid map. I think it has flaws. I think it does things well. End of story. Solid, like, 7.5 out of 10.
Groff
Thumbs
thinks
up.
Richthofen has just betrayed him while never catching on to what's actually happening. It's surprisingly good stuff. Another story positive is the ending cutscene. Dempsey killing himself does have some weight to it, and the acting here is strong. This is a praise I'm going to have for the other maps going forward as well. But as a side note, Black Ops 4 later would undercut the significance of these scenes by completely shifting the story away from this premise, and in Alpha Omega, Primus literally tells Ultimus Dempsey how he died, and they play it off as a big joke, which is pretty funny and sad in retrospect.
I mean, that's pretty in character.
Fight alongside you, Other Dempsey. Yours is a good soul, and you died with honor.
Thanks, Tech. Much appreciated. Wait, what?
Blowing up the
That's
moon
pretty in
is
character.
a really cool sequence. This map has a few moon callbacks in it, and this caps it off pretty well. Even though you could take the cynical approach and say blowing up the moon is a giant middle finger to the old storyline, but we'll save those critiques for later. It's a good set piece.
How is it a middle? This is an alternate timeline. They didn't... Dude, he's so stupid. He doesn't have basic media litters.
And coming off of the boss fight, it's an extremely triumphant and satisfying visual. One of the major criticisms I have for Dreisendrach is that for all intents and purposes, it's very similar to Origins. A big difference with this map, however, is that with its smaller scale, the bow quests being much shorter and straightforward than the staffs, the map itself being much smaller with no mud, it makes you feel like you're doing more with less busy work in between. Which is why I can concede that this is a solid map at its core, and unlike Shadows of Evil, it actually has a reason to exist. Even though
Wait, what? That's crazy! Saying Shadows doesn't have a reason to exist? About one of the most creative maps of all time?
Shadows is like one of the few maps I can think of off the top of my head that picks a theme, and everything is directly related to that theme in every way, shape, and form, through and through. So that's kind of crazy.
And to top it off, it's all done well. That's crazy saying Shadows doesn't have a reason to
My
exist.
personal favorite. Shadows of Evil was a shameless imitation of Mob of the Dead with little to no improvements over its predecessor. And the love
Shameless
for that map is
imitation.
one
They
I'll
both
never
have an
understand.
afterlife type
But
mechanic
Rise
that
and
involves
Rock
opening shit on
is
the
an
map.
okay interpretation
Oh my
of what
fucking
And they
Shadows
both
God.
take
did,
place in a
with
pocket
few
dimension.
twists and problems of its own.
That's the extent.
The lack of creativity with DE and Shadows is something that even to this day never sat right with me. Because waiting for Black Ops 3 to come out, I played a
Lack
ton
of creativity
of Mob
in
of the Dead
Shadows is
Origins.
insane.
So to see
About
these maps reinterpreted and have their ideas repackaged as new maps in this game, on top of the story really beginning to lose me by this point, it made me
Dude.
lose a
there wasn't a story in fucking. It took them. It just wasn't. There wasn't a story. Like it wasn't connected to the overall lore for so long. So saying that you were engrossed by a story, no, you weren't. You're fucking lying, because there wasn't a story that it connected to at the time. You didn't figure that shit out. I know damn well you fucking did. You lying sack of shit. You were 12. You were just blatantly fucking.
lot
Dude,
of
this
faith
guy's
in
so
this game
stupid.
pretty early on. Until...
Do you think Zetsubo's his favorite map?
We could here's wrap up on Zetsubo and then move on to his thoughts on Gorod. Because I don't care about this map at all.
On this map compared to DE,
He said DE
because of the
was his
input
favorite.
points.
Black Ops 3 map.
So, it's far from bad, but like a lot of the community, this Easter egg should have had a little more going on than, as I said at the top, surprise in how he is revealed. We get an expansion on lore we knew very little about, all the way back in World at War with Division 9 on Shino Numa. The cutscene is cited by many as the best in the game, and it works better than most others. Takeo was always the least liked character of the original crew, but unlike Dempsey, who was unaware of his fate, or Nikolai, who rejected it, Takeo accepts what must be done, and seems to be the only one who really grasps the situation. The conversation
cool
younger
I
Takeo
love
has
Takeo.
with himself really gives a good depth to his character. While the twist reveal that the state we find him in is the Emperor's doing, it comes off as a good reveal, rather than an unnecessary retcon of a character's backstory, like Nikolai. The main map's Easter egg works well with its gameplay, and its subtle...
Is Nikolai a retcon?
I don't remember what they retcon about Nikolai.
In the older games, he would just talk about how he had a bunch of wives and shit, and he killed them or something like that. But then in Gorod, it's revealed that he actually only had one wife and she died in the war, and that's why he's an alcoholic and he fell into that drinking. And all of the talk about the other wives was just him trying to look cool, play up and keep this facade of this badass Russian. In general, I think that's way cooler, to be honest.
If you're gonna retcon something, at least let it be something that makes a character better or more compelling.
That's exactly what that is. You could argue that if you're calling Nikolai a retcon, you would have to call Takeo a retcon too. Because that didn't happen to Primus Takeo. That's a different Takeo than Primus Takeo. It's an alternate version of Primus Takeo.
Story fits well with the character that it's about. While the final bit of the Easter egg would set up for a thread that would lead down a controversial path in the next game, the map sets up the next very well. As Zetsubo was a more reserved journey, the next would be a lot louder and in your face.
Dude, I still remember Gorod OV launch day. I remember fucking waking up 2 hours before I normally do for school to play it online with some friends. We all woke up at 5 a.m. instead of 7. That shit was so fire. Probably my best launch day a reception of a map. Because I haven't played through the Black Ops 2 release cycle.
Grovey is good.
I played Zombies. I
Really
played Black Ops
good,
2.
actually. While not without flaws and bugs, as we'll discuss, this map does so many things right.
I only
This
played
map has a very
Origins like a handful of
bombastic
times
intro
because I
cutscene,
thought
which
it
establishes
looked cool.
that this one is going to be very different from the other 4. This map relies on new and old elements of zombies and blends them together almost perfectly. Whereas Shadows and DE were very transparent and forced in their references and fan service, GK rides that line perfect.
Actually, we didn't hear him talk about the map at all, only the lore, but do you really care?
No, I don't. I don't care about Zetsubo, dude.
That map is... I just don't fucking care.
It exists. It exists. It's not the worst thing ever.
I think it is easily the worst thing Black Ops 3 did for zombies.
I mean, you can basically insta-kill him with it, and the health of the cores doesn't seem to scale very much into co-op. So if you know what you're doing with the Mark III, this fight can be over faster than it took to sit through the cutscene after you kill the dragon. It's a nice touch that if you do this Easter egg in solo or under an hour and 15 minutes in a co-op game, you'll get a permanent perkaholic, just like Moon and Shangri-La in Black Ops 1. This is a pretty tough map to high round, so it's borderline essential if you want to do well on this map. It also allows you to get unlimited quick revives in solo. Let's talk about the story now. When Nikolai dies and the cutscene ends, you're teleported back to spawn, and 3 of the 4 characters are treated to some of the worst dialogue ever written and recorded by a character that has only been alluded to up to this point, that being Dr. Monty. I have a lot to say about him later, but basically this is where BO3's story turns into an embarrassing mess. Let me be clear, it was subpar and confusing up to this point, but now there's no going back. This is...
Dude, you can't tell me with a straight face you knew what the zombie story was. Just by playing the maps. I don't believe you. You can get a brief outline. You can get an idea. I don't believe you if you say you knew what the full story was just from playing the maps. You are full of shit. Zombies lore has always been in conniving and weird, and you just had to accept shit was happening. They didn't explain shit to you directly unless you paid very close attention. There's a reason the lore video is 7 fucking hours. This shit got more confusing more than FNAF.
This is where it gets completely derailed, and it's unsalvageable from this character's introduction onward. We're going to talk about that in the next map, but no, this is where figuratively the story goes from eating a cheap TV dinner to drinking raw sewage. The story itself in this map, excluding Monty, while having a decent enough impactful moments, in area falls back to the tired ideals of modern writing, where instead of something ultimately new, it's just talking about what came before in the past and killing it, which is an unfortunate motif of this entire game story, but it feels most apparent here, as you kill Gersh from Ascension for seemingly no reason other than to destroy another part of Zombie's past. A story
Who cared about Gersh from Ascension? Who gives a fuck about Gersh Ascension?
Yeah, no, they killed him just to show how this timeline differs from the one you know.
Gersh Ascension.
Vision I dislike comes in the ending cutscene where it's revealed that Ultimus Nikolai's quips in BO1 and World at War about having multiple wives was just him coping with the fact that he lost his real wife, presumably in World War II, although it's not very clear. This was clearly only done to have some kind of emotional impact because as a character, Nikolai is very funny and charismatic, while his Primus counterpart is an absolute depressing stick in the mud.
He's just complaining they added depth to Nikolai. Sure, I hate it when characters have reasoning behind their actions and why they behave that way.
I'll be back. I'm gonna
This is also apparently why he's an alcoholic. This retcon comes off as really corny to me. 1.0 Dempsey didn't speak at all, so that was a bit of a cop-out, but Takio 1.0's death and his backstory in that map was handled really well. This cutscene tries to do something similar, but it falls flat. Nikolai 1.0 is just very good of a character
compared to the other
land,
ones.
even with the retcon. Overall, while the ending itself isn't necessarily something that has the impact it should,
I think
what it does
this is
do
a
well is set
non-issue.
up the right level of
Just
hype
crying
for the
about it.
final map.
See,
To end this map off, Gorod has the gameplay of the better
was
maps
so
from
excited
Black Ops
for it.
1,
And
with the
then it
level
was
of
mid.
content from the Blundell maps of Black Ops 2, but without resorting to lifting any ideas directly from those maps, which is the reason why it works so well for so.
Dude, he's just mad that they brought back old mechanics that people like. What are you fucking talking about? Like, people like them, so they brought them back. It's that simple. Except they made them new and different in some way. Even in the fucking dragon and dogs, it's literally just visually, the dragons look cool. Who cares? Most people like them.
So many types of players. It's a jack of all trades type of map, and with so many tiny details that it gives more than your average map, such as having time trials for getting melee weapons, the before mentioned masks, or even the useful feature to teleport back into the boss fight arena with Anywhere But Here, which is another great, albeit unintended reward for completing the Easter egg. Gorod Krovi is a shockingly good map that also pushes zombies forward, this time in a simple, less quest-heavy experience, and is a beautiful contrast to Zetsubo no Shima. Gorod and Zetsubo, in terms of Blundell's design philosophy, are almost polar opposites, which is why I think it's the best two maps we've ever had back-to-back. Because after Zetsubo,
What the fuck? What the fuck? That's it! Oh my god, that's an insane take! What the fuck?
What did he say?
Zetsubo and Gorod is the best, like, back-to-back maps in terms of, like, this map to this map. Not in terms of, like, individual map quality, but, like, going from the map to the map. That's insane! Dude, you got fucking Mob Buried. You got fucking Shang Moon. You got fucking... You got Shadows into fucking Horizon Drop. Insane. Even in Black Ops 4, you got the Coliseum into the remake of 9, I think? Classified, that's what it's called. The Coliseum one, which I can't remember. It might be called like 11 or something. I don't remember. I didn't play Black Ops 4 that much. Like, but those two maps, really good, and very good at, like, feeling different, but both feel satisfying to play. The two best maps from that game. So saying it's...
It was an extremely refreshing change of pace. But unfortunately, this is where Treyarch's winning streak would come to an end. Revelations is the zombies equivalent of a bad clip show that goes completely overboard and doubles down on the self-indulgence and nostalgia. This all culminates in quite possibly the most mediocre zombies map of all time, while also being extremely disappointing and rife with wasted potential. A common misconception with Revelations is that it was a completely safe choice to bring all these maps together in the way that they did, and that the return of the Apothicons had been foreshadowed when the Shadow Man was trapped in the summoning key, and through various ciphers and radios.
The Apothicons coming back has been foreshadowed since fucking Origin. Be so fucking for real. Don't say it's an asshole. We're watching quite possibly the worst video I've ever seen. Like,
really? Like, you know, of all media?
No, in terms of, like, YouTube reviews.
Oh, okay.
Like, he has had a few good takes. I won't discredit that. But most of his takes have been abysmal dog shit so far. Mm-hmm. Or just factually incorrect.
I would have joined earlier, but I got back.
Alright, I'm back. Did he say something fucking stupid?
Oh, he said something insanely stupid.
Huh?
He said something insanely stupid.
What did he say?
He said Zetsubo into Gorod is the best, like, two map release cycle they've had. Ever.
Let me think.
I think.
If you want to
The
talk about
one-
like jump of quality, maybe.
Jump of quality from dog shit to good.
Wait, no, okay, hold on. We had Mob in the Buried.
Mob in the Buried.
Buried in the Origins.
Buried in the Origins. Shadows into the Rise
DE.
Drop. Fucking Shinonuma into Moon. No, not Shinonuma. Shangri-La into Moon. Fucking
Ascension
even
and Call the Dead.
Ascension and Call the Dead. And you had fucking the arena map into Classified in Black Ops 4.
No, but they launched together, so that doesn't count.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just wrong about that then. Oopsies. Cold War. The only good map in Cold War is the first one. The last one is alright, but I don't even remember what the maps are named because they're so fucking forgettable.
It was
Cold
coming
War is just-
beforehand, making it predictable. However, in a lot of ways, that couldn't be further from the truth. Revelations is a pretty ambitious map. The issue is that most of it just doesn't work.
So far, I've agreed with everything you
First
said about
off, the big
Revelation.
criticism I have is the maps that were chosen and the sections of those maps that were recreated. I know they aren't meant to be one-to-one ports, but why the heck is the Flogger in Origins? And of all the sections from that
I always
map,
wondered that. Why the
generate
fuck is that there?
And having
Yeah.
a section of a map from Black Ops 3 in this map is peak laziness. Especially when you consider all the maps that got snubbed just so Derizen Drock could be here for seemingly no other reason than the 0G.
I mean, but the Rise Drock is the best part of this map. Let's be fucking for real. It's the most fun.
I mean, he still got a point, though. He still has a
Oh,
point.
yeah, he's got a point. But comparing it to everything else that's there, this is the part I go to every time because it's the only part of the map that doesn't feel like shit.
Gimmick.
And the inside of the thingy.
The map
inside of
being the way it
Boston.
is was simply done for no other reason than for zombie YouTubers to play the map for the first time and give overly nostalgic reactions. But the problem is that all of these returning locations, the wow factor fades quickly, because the
Yep.
map mechanics don't properly benefit these layouts. And having the big finale map being nothing but reused assets made the map feel played out very quickly. The issue with discussing the map itself and why this section is going to be so short is there's really not much to say. Almost every part of this map, except for spawn, pack, and the boss fight room, are reused areas. So the feeling of playing the map doesn't feel as unique as the story wants you to feel, and the other issue is that despite all of these older maps returning, none of the depth of them are brought with them.
Yeah.
This map has such a basic design and feeling to it, with none of the dynamic elements of Zetsubo or Gorod. For the last map in the
Dynamic
game to have such a
elements of
bland
Zetsubo,
and
dude, that
basic
map's so
gameplay
dog
loop,
shit.
even when compared to Shadows of Evil, is just disappointing. Rev just takes everything and throws it all together with no sense of how
Dude,
the
how do you
game
let Zetsubo would
and the
call
Wonder
Shadows
Weapons
boring
are a
and
perfect
didn't
example
need...
of
Oh yeah,
that.
Leland.
Even the
He said Shadows had no reason to exist.
Dude, what?
Bro was flabbergasted. It stunned him for a solid, like,
melt the
2
bosses
seconds.
on the maps they were on. But when you introduce the Thunder Gun into that equation, along with allowing the player to hold both the Servant and the Thunder Gun, it leads to the difficulty being a complete joke as well. Not to mention the Ragnaroks, the returning Dragon Shield, and Little Arnie's on top of that. Many maps get criticisms for being too easy, which leads to them being boring to some players. Buried, for a long time, had that reputation. But the big difference between Buried and
Buried
Revelations
is such a good
is
map.
that Buried was its own original map that had its own mechanics that you couldn't get by playing any other map. Revelations has nothing about it that stands out.
I love Vulture's A! I want Vulture's A! My favorite perk of all time, unironically.
There's no reason for that they didn't bring it back for Black Ops 4. Instead they made the fucking turtle perk.
With
Oh,
none
yeah,
of the
the
innovation
Black Ops
of
4 perks are so dog
the
shit, I
fun of
hate them.
Gorod, or even the style of Shadows. Revelation
Oh
has
yeah, he said he didn't like how Shadows looked!
I think it was something about the filter or something after you do the shit or whatever.
Little in terms of gameplay
like
depth.
that, but, like,
the only thing that offsets this
you can't have one of
are
your
all the
main
mask
points about
side
Shadows being that you don't like
the
how
mask system,
at least
which
part
has
of
been
it looks,
slowly
and
iterated
then
in each map, has been
later
expanded
be like, oh,
tenfold here. They all have their own enemies that are needed to be
it
killed
just
or tasks
more
to be
shows that
done to acquire
he's
them. And there's a very decent
nitpicking,
amount that gives all kinds
making
of
not real
bonuses.
points.
This system is the only thing Revelations has going for it. But even then, in some ways, they take it too far. Because some of the masks are, by and large, better than others, and make them completely obsolete. The only other notable side quests are the returning spawn room fast time challenges that give plenty of decent melee weapons. And the weapon table at Noct, which is the first time since Moon that players could share their weapons with another player. But here, it's done a lot more easily than the hacker with the random box weapons every other hit. Here, you can choose which weapons of your own that you want your friends to have. The Revelations Easter egg is by far and away the worst main Easter egg in BO3. It makes no
I was
sense.
in Zombies
It's
history, and I
not
wasn't even
new.
going to disagree with them.
The story's horrible. It's not
I gotta play
good at all.
BO4 before we gotta finish the BO1 Easter eggs, and then I gotta play BO4 before I can come back to that.
That's fair. Also, I think the story of Origins is still pretty good. It set up a great war map, which was at the time was anticipating it was so fucking hype. And then Black Ops fucking that game is so I hate that game.
Or know about the steps for this Easter egg,
Actually,
this is
I
going
don't
to
even hate that
sound
game that much. I hate
unbelievable,
Activision for
but
fucking
trust me,
forcing them to
these
rush
are
it out
all
and not
real
even
steps. All of
letting them
which
finish the
stump Easter
fucking
egg hunters and the entire community for days on end. And that's because they're poorly designed, deliberately obtuse, annoying from a gameplay standpoint, and have absolutely no wow factor whatsoever. To this day, it remains by far the longest main Easter egg hunt, clocking in at 9 days. Let's see why that is. First step you need to do is shoot these random tombstones outside of the map that you can't read without a sniper scope in spawn. These are the graves of our 4 characters for some reason. You need to shoot them in the order of the maps that they died in, which is kinda clever, I'll admit, but it makes no sense, seemingly, and does nothing and serves no purpose to the story. Off to a great start. After shooting the tombstones for no reason,
you could say that about a lot of the zombie steps.
I mean, yes.
I think the step does suck, and I think they should have made the names readable. If the names were readable, it would have been fine.
You then need to find an ultra-specific, pointy rock
you gotta be more
that is now
specific.
spawned inside of one of the
Now
jump
this is
pad
stupid.
spots at
This
3
is
different
stupid as fuck.
locations. And better yet, you can only see these rocks decently well if the jump pad is inactive. Once you find this pointy rock that looks barely different to any other rock, you must then get a keeper protector to go near this rock. He will then start doing this dumb-looking rain dance type thing, where you then need to defend him for what feels like an eternity. After that, he'll disappear and then drop a film reel, which you then need to put in the radio in Noct. For some reason, this step is absolutely no fun, because by this point you probably have the Apothecon Servant because it's required for a later step, and there's zero reason to even start this Easter egg until you're set up, so nearly every time you do this step, it feels like boring filler that poses no challenge whatsoever. The next step is easily the second worst step of this entire Easter egg. You need to get little Arnie's out of the box. You then need to go into the Apothecon and very carefully throw
This is not the worst step of the Easter egg.
It's up there though. Let's not act like it isn't.
For no reason.
It's not.
We spent like a good hour and a half on
spawn
this.
holes inside of here, and you need to do them in increments of
No, it
3.
was because the zombies kept popping up and there was no
3
indication
marbles will spawn.
of which one
Yeah,
he threw the
killing
marbles
them,
in.
you
This
need
step
to
is
hope
dog
and
shit.
pray
It
that
sucks,
one of
but
them drops a max
the step where
ammo,
you're
so you can
literally just shooting
continue to do
random
this
rocks
step
is
on the
worse.
same round. Because they thought it would be a great idea to not refill your Arnie's automatically during this step. Thank you, Treyarch. After that's done, you'll need to find a film reel on the second floor of the Apothecon. You then need to take this one to the radio on Kino for no reason. Doing this step mid-round is almost impossible because at any moment a zombie could spawn out of the holes, completely blocking the Arnie and wasting it. This step also sucks because, as alluded to earlier, the hitbox on the holes is
Why is this
extremely
playing like
tiny,
Jews?
and trying to get them is insanely frustrating. It's not as bad in co-op because multiple players can get Arnie's, but in solo,
Why is this playing like
complete
Jews?
trash. The only, and I mean the only, positive of this step is that because you need to kill 9 Morgwas, it does give you a lot of points. That's about it.
Yeah,
The next step is infamous. It's diabolical, despicable, offensive, boring, tedious, embarrassing, and sickening.
Rock shooting,
this is the
baby.
step that made this Easter egg take 9 days of non-stop searching to solve.
Dude, this step
This
is the worst
is
step
the
in any
bone
Easter egg.
step. For the uninitiated out there,
He said this is the bone, and I thought he was gonna say the bone of my sword.
What
I'm not
fate
okay.
does to a motherfucker.
you may be wondering,
I'm not
why is it so
okay.
bad? Well, for this step, you need to shoot pebbles that look almost identical to every other pebble.
Dude, it's
Some
so
are in the
dumb.
map, but most are outside of the map.
This is such
Once you
a
shoot one
fucking
of these
stupid
pebbles,
step.
a tiny bone that's only slightly bigger than the pebble you shot will float above where the pebble was. After that, you need to shoot around the bone with the upgraded Apothecon Servant to suck it up. There are
Jason
6
Wundell
pebble
needs to be
locations,
fucking
and I want to talk about each one individually. So
publicly
we can see
shame-
just
it-
why
you
this
need to be
step is a
stoned for
giant
this.
piece of garbage.
Only
I'm gonna
once,
go in order
but
from least offensive to most
to make up
offensive.
for it.
The least offensive and the only location I'd say is fine is the one in Shangri-La. It's just above Stamina Up. Nothing too bad about that one. It's technically in the map and you can spot it okay. This is how all the locations should have been, but unfortunately, Treyarch couldn't help themselves. The second bone is a little worse than Shang, no
I
doubt
don't even
about
think
it.
you can blame Treyarch. I'm pretty sure this one was Jason Wundell specifically. After hearing about how that motherfucker planned out this unsolvable thing with goddamn fucking hypercubes, bro, what? Like, that shit I'm a fan of. This shit was stupid. But after learning about that shit, this was definitely him.
But not as bad as the rest. I'm talking about the one on the roof of Noct. This one you can barely spot, but it's not as bad as the others because, like
I
the
wonder if
Stamina Bone,
he'll come out of
this
his
one is
internet
also
hiatus
technically
once they
in
get
the
solved.
map. With the third bone, now this is where it becomes just flat out evil. I'm talking about the one at Origins. This is the first one that's out of the map completely, and you need to blind fire at all these rocks that look the same. This one is third because of all the ones that are out of the map, this is the closest to the map itself. Simple logic, right? It's still horrible though. Fourth is going to be the Verrucht Bone. I was really tempted to put this higher, but it was going against the other 2 titans of stupidity. This bone is outside of the map on one of the rocks on the left side of this river. This one is horrible because there are rocks everywhere, and because of the poor lighting in this area and the render distance, it's extremely hard to see it.
Is his portrait Batman?
Even if you've
No,
shot
that's
it.
from the mask.
That's why it's so
It
hard.
just
Oh,
looks like
I was
Batman.
gonna say, I think it
It's
is.
terrible. The fifth bone, and I was
think that's just one of the
struggling over
masks.
whether to make this the worst. It came down to the wire. It has got to be the spawn room bone. This one, you just can't see at all. You basically need a blind fire into this church to try and hit it. The only indication you have is the sound effect for hitting it, and if you miss that or didn't hear it, you just need to guess. This one is horrible in every conceivable way. Despite that, however...
There can be only one.
Surprising no one of the worst locations for anything in all of zombies, it has to go to the DE wall run bone. This one is horrific and truly putrid. It's the ultimate
I
middle
think the
finger
spawn
to
one
the
is worse.
community. This location alone was why the Easter egg hunt took 9 days. People could not find this last bone. For this
guess.
one,
Yeah,
you need
this
to
one
wait
did take
for
longer
zero
for the community
gravity
to find.
and then
Okay,
spray
fair.
it
No,
all
yeah,
over
no.
this wall
That's
in
fair,
hopes of
actually.
accidentally hitting the right spot for the bone to pop out.
That's
There's
fair, yeah,
absolutely
no.
zero
This is the
indication
worst
on
one.
this wall as to where you're supposed to shoot.
So
by
far,
the way.
he's been...
Even when you've done this
Revelation's
Easter
been
egg
pretty
a
good.
lot, this is
I
the
agree
one
with a lot of
bone
this.
that's a guessing game every single time. It could take 2, 3, sometimes even 4G strike cycles to get this stupid thing. For that alone, it had to be the worst. Once you painstakingly got all the bones, it's time to go back to Noct. On the second floor, you'll see that they're all laid out on the ground. You need to shoot another servant shot at these bones. It will then spawn a generic looking zombie corpse. Shoot it with the servant again, and you'll get the last film reel. Finally, you need to take this to the radio on Origins for, again, no reason. The next step is surprisingly simple. A spectral version of Sophia will appear in Noct near where the zombie corpse was. You need to go to all 4 corruption turrets and bounce the turret beams off of these crystals, which will then point the beams towards Sophia. Once that's done, you go back to Noct, hold X or square on Sophia, and she'll pop into existence, and then lead you to the teleporter in Kino. She'll power it up, and you can go into Samantha's room. The Chronorium will be laying here on the bed, you need to grab it, and that's it. After that we have the eggs, which aside from having too many locations is a pretty okay step. Once you come back from Samantha's room, you'll be back in Kino. You need to place the Chronorium on this podium, and this will start the egg step. Basically, you need to find 4 eggs, take them into the Apothecon, put each of them in one of these disgusting looking holders, get kills, worm pops out, grab worm. Now here's the interesting part. You need to take the worm back to where you got the egg and listen for these weird sonar beeps. Once you get close enough, you need to hold X or square on that location, and the worm will pop out and give you a symbol. Repeat that 3 more times, and the step is done.
I'll never forget it fucking Will's bum ass telling me that it would only be in the Derisenjock part of the map and not the Shinonuma part. So the whole everyone else found theirs, and I was looking for mine, and I felt so stupid. And I spent like 20 minutes looking, and everyone was getting annoyed, and then everyone else came to help look, and no one else could find it either. And then we finally realized, I'm gonna check Shinonuma just to be sure. And then there it was. That fucking dumbass.
For the first, and I'm going to say this in massive air quotes, boss fight. Stand in the circle in the projector room and you'll be awkwardly teleported into the boss room. Fun fact, there's a bug Treyarch never patched where there's a small chance that when you're teleported into the boss room, you can hit a death barrier and die. First thing you do in here is run up to the Chronorium that's now here for some reason and hold extra square on it, and the 4 symbols you picked up will appear in the book in a sequence. You then need to input these symbols up to where you spawn in the room. Then the boss fight starts. This once again
I'd like to see what his card is.
Challenge because you have the Apothecon Servant and Little Arnie's by this point. I don't want to go over all these phases because other than making the room look pretty, they're kind of lame to be honest. The only interesting one is the floor's lava, where you get to boost jump around, but that's about it. You just need to kill 1 or 2 Margwas to end each phase. Once that nonsense is out of the way, the summoning key will float down and you can pick it up. After this, you'll be teleported back to Kino, and now you get to do the glitchiest step probably ever. You need to take the summoning key, which is just a shameless reskin of the uplink ball from multiplayer, which is why it doesn't even look like the summoning key. The proportions are completely off. Anyway, you need to take the key and throw it at a bunch of different landmarks from each of the maps. As if the fake nostalgia hadn't been crammed down your throat enough at this point. But my favorite part of this step is the way the key can just disappear at random, gets stuck when you go through teleporters. Oh, and kills with the key don't actually count towards the rounds or give you any points. So that's just great. Wouldn't want to get this far into the Easter egg and have it be rewarding or anything. After collecting all this junk, you can start the final boss fight by going back into the Kino teleporter. This boss is a lazy copy-paste of the Shadow Man fight from Shadows of Evil, meaning that just like Shadows of Evil, you can end the fight in 2 seconds. This one is somehow even less exciting because instead of having to interact with the 4 keepers when you fail, you just need to get souls for the summoning key and throw it at Ghost Sophia, who's back for some reason, and she'll shoot a beam to break his shield. This is so lazy and awful, it makes the Tokyo boss fight on Setsubo look like a masterpiece. This boss alone is a big part of the reason why people to this day think this map was a massive disappointment. And I can't say they're wrong when it sucks this hard. Apparently, that stone Apothecon in the background was supposed to be the boss, but it was cut because they ran out of time. Thematically, I
That's
don't know what the
fucking
difference would have
horrific.
been, and why killing this one big slug would have mattered when we see like 20 of them in the final cutscene, but it still would have been better than what
I'm
we
gonna guess
got.
that was gonna be the Shadow
After the
Man.
boss is done, we're treated to
Like
a
his true
terrible
form.
IGC with Maxis and Sophia that looks like it was made by a custom mapper for $5 and they only had an hour to put it together.
I mean, what did you want them to do? It's two orbs interacting.
Bad it is.
Like, what did you
We
want
then
them to
get
do
the
with that?
final
Have an
cutscene,
orb
which is a
orgy
pre-rendered
and then
video
fucking
file, thank God.
they die.
Only thing even worth
Yeah.
noting about this cutscene, because most of it is poorly written slop, is that it ends with
Wrong.
a title card that literally says, "The End." And you know what I think? They fully intended for this to be the end of the storyline, which was the right call because it was
They
so
flat out
awful
said
by
that
this they
they originally intended for
absolutely
it.
needed to be put
I'm
out.
gonna be real. If this,
But unfortunately,
Thank
they
God it
couldn't help
wasn't.
themselves. More on that later.
because I don't like this
The thing
ending.
you'll
I
be
think this ending
immediately
is
hit with when
ass.
this cutscene ends is,
Really?
oh,
I like it.
it ends the game. That's right. This map started a horrible trend of Easter eggs ending the game for no reason when you finish them. I don't care about your horrible...
Okay, don't say for no reason. There is very clearly a reason in here. In other maps, no, there is no reason. But here, it is a very, be for real.
I mean, it
Here
depends
they-
on the map. Because I know in Blood of the Dead, Rick Toffin literally fucking kills himself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
he gets
So Blood of the
replaced,
Dead-
but like that one has a reason to fucking end. No, and then the universe closes, then they leave. So no, yeah, it does have a reason to end.
Yeah, like, there is a reason. Just because you don't know the lore or like the lore, because this guy hasn't said a single thing he likes about the lore, except that he likes old Nikolai's jokes. That's it. No, actually, no, he likes Takeo's then.
It doesn't even
He
change the
likes
fact,
Takeo.
because most of the time when you beat the Easter egg, you're just gonna fucking kill yourself right after anyways.
Exactly, except unlike maps where doing the Easter egg is a part of the high rounds track, which... Not... I mean,
Or like
most
they're
of the maps-
repeatable, so that way everyone can get like the little perkaholic bonus effect or whatever, like on Shangri-La.
Yeah.
story or continuity, please let me keep playing the game. Thanks. Apparently,
Then just don't do the Easter
is
egg.
fixing this? God, I hope so. What a brain-dead decision. And you know, for a map called...
Dude, it's such a non-issue. Just don't do the fucking Easter egg then. And here. Because it serves a fucking narrative purpose. I don't think them putting the narrative above this minor gameplay thing on a map that was supposed to be the end is a big deal.
Revelations, there really aren't many.
That's the first
This story is
real thing I
notorious for
disagreed
being
with him
such a
about in
letdown
Revelations.
disappointment that players refuse to accept the fact that this was the end. Maybe Blundell really thought that this would have been the ending, but after its release and the reception to it, there's no doubt why Black Ops 4 brought back the Ether storyline. Because nothing is told to us. Nothing is revealed. We know almost nothing more than we did from the opening cutscene. The Shadow Man is bad. He wants to bring the Apothicons to take over the...
I mean, you have most of the answers already by the time of the opening cutscene, if you knew the fucking lore, which most of the people didn't, because zombies lore is weird as shit. Let's be fucking for real.
I mean, we didn't really know shit until in between the gap of BO3 and BO4, where Jason Blundell showed up at JC's house and in Milo's house, and they just dropped an actual timeline.
Yeah. It's like...
Which doesn't help. I still think this ending is fucking dog shit, and everything about this map fucking sucks.
I think this map fucking sucks, but
the ending is cool on paper. I hate how it's executed, and I hate how it's fucking explained.
What do you mean how it's explained?
When Dr. Monty's like, yeah, I should kill you guys.
Wait! Never mind. I'm gonna send you back to the Great War so you can be heroes.
And then that's how it ends. I think that is so fucking stupid. That
No,
shit
that's
that
the
turns out of nowhere.
The whole point of the blood is so he couldn't kill them, and like just with his powers.
No, he literally starts evaporating them, and then he's like, never mind, change of plans. That's how the cutscene goes.
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. I don't know. I still like them getting sent back to the Great War and it being a time loop. I like that.
Like, it's cool on paper. I just don't like at all how it plays out. I think Monty, like, just changing his mind on the fucking dime instead of it be like, wait, never mind.
That's pretty stupid. That's pretty stupid.
Especially if they would have just explained his motivation to keep the cycle going at that point, then I would have been like, okay, yeah, that would have been fine.
I mean, no, Black Ops 4 does explain in it, actually.
Yeah, but we didn't know it at the time, and I'm like, I'm looking at this ending in the context of this is like how it was supposed to end. So
That's
assuming
fair,
that was never explained, I think that like this ending is fucking ass.
That's fair, yeah. I still like it, but that makes more sense now.
And in the end, we banish all the evil. Despite this being a perfect world and a happy ending for the kids, because of how lackluster it was handled, no one was happy with it. And eventually, we get an even worse ending in Black Ops 4, but that...
I fuck with the BO4 ending more.
Crazy. I fuck with the BO4 ending because it was executed pretty well. Except for the comic book thingy. That should have been an actual fucking
If you like get past the fact that we never got the Great War map, I like the BO4 ending. I like us actually getting to hear what the premise crew wanted to actually do with their fucking lives, and Eddie and Samantha leaving all the bullshit behind. I really like that ending.
Yeah, and the Cold War brings all the bullshit back. I watched a video about the Cold War literally yesterday, bro. Dude, that shit is so... I don't give a fuck. You think I care about fucking Weaver, bro? The guy that I don't even get to play as?
That's a story for
Samantha, I only care about because it's fucking Samantha.
Had the game given you the option to side with Monty or the Shadow Man, it would have been far more acceptable if one ending was the one we got, because even if it did get a bad reception, Treyarch could have just made whichever ending got less negativity the canon one, and continued from there. But like every aspect of Revelations, it was cut back and half-baked. This map was such a disappointment. Even the first trailer had a lot of people nervous, but I was still hopeful that this final map would wrap up the storyline in a satisfying way. It failed to deliver in story and gameplay like Moon and Origins, and compared to those maps, it hardly felt like a conclusion because of the last-minute pivot they had to do because of Black Ops 4.
Are you gonna hate these next sections?
Were you watching the video?
I was watching it earlier, but then I skimmed a bunch of it, and I was like, I'm just gonna send this to Jacob and then watch it later because I was making food.
First thing we'll touch on here is characters, because I've been dying to talk about how much Premise sucks.
You gonna kill this nigga?
What? Dude, how? What?
I'm about to say something Jacob's about to fucking hate. I know this for a fact.
Dude, he said Premise sucks, and that's already a red flag. Because Premise is so much better.
Just wait for his reasons.
If you unironically think Ultimus is better written, you're fucking stupid. Most of Ultimate is just fucking racist stereotypes. Which, yeah, are pretty funny sometimes. You can't say that that twisting those into actual characters with motivations that make sense, interesting and gripping fucking arcs and backstories is worse. You're fucking stupid.
Premise throughout the game are just insufferable and cringe. People
Dude,
insult Ultimate.
You can't say that when they're based on Ultimate. Everything Ultimate has is a premise somewhere. And literally, fundamentally, you're just stupid and don't understand the character. Don't watch the fucking lore video before you talk about the lore.
Just for being one-dimensional, but throughout Black Ops 1,
listen to the fucking voice line.
Their chemistry shined through as the maps went on.
I think Nikolai and Takeo are gonna get into it one of these days. And how often can Takeo get away with calling him Nicky?
With Premise, I see characters that are truly one-dimensional. Even the lines that they...
Dude, what? What dimensions does that voice line you just showed have? What?
Directly take from the Ultimus crew have purposely worked...
Directly take to the same fucking people! Dude, you're so stupid! Holy shit!
To be unfunny and painful to listen to if you played Black Ops 1 and World at War.
This dude heard the 1.0 Dempsey talk about Facebook and thought that shit was the funniest shit ever.
Dude,
guaranteed.
Premise is so much fucking funnier. Or not Premise. No, yeah, Premise. Premise is so much funnier.
Don't fuck with a Marine! Hoorah! Don't mess with a Marine!
That's not premise, that's Activision. Well, I mean, technically that is premise, but that's not. Also, wait, wasn't the fuck one cut out in Black Ops 1 too?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was only in World at War. That's why it's so crunchy. I'm pretty sure it was changed in Black Ops 1, but I could be wrong about that.
Take Dempsey, for example. In Origins, the field reports he did were kind of interesting and added to his character, and at least made partial sense on that map.
Field report. Confirming arrival at site identified in our intel. No sign of the target, nor the other agents believed to be on intercept course. Dempsey out.
But fast forward all the way to Revelations in the middle of a war between two mystical forces, and God with a giant blue Apothicon sun over his head in a completely different dimension, and he's still doing them for literally no reason other than to make the audience feel sad for him and give pointless exposition. That's bad writing, plain and simple.
What do you... Pointless exposition? Dude. What?
I think
notice how he didn't provide an example.
I think he's literally about to.
Let's also mention the non-stop cringe.
I lied. Never mind.
Dempsey.
Nope. Notice how he didn't provide an example. Because he's talking out of his ass. It's explaining what's going on because none of this shit we've actually seen before in game. We've only heard about it. We only know about it because of this pointless exposition. It's called fucking world building. Dude, you're so stupid. You don't know about game design. You don't know about writing. But you're talking about it as if you do. You've never looked into anything. You've only consumed the entry-level media. You've never made an actual critique on something. You sound like a fucking moron. Like, oh my god.
Bombards you with? Seriously, his dialogue is like it was written for a children's cartoon.
It's Gobblegum time.
That's some shit they would say in the original too! Half of what Nikolai talks about is just fucking vodka! How is that any different? They're just being silly. Zombies is a silly ass game!
Bro say he prefers the racist caricatures.
The racist caricatures that have no depth and just make the same jokes over and over. Like, just them just being fucking... Oh my god.
And there's zero...
I won't lie, that was funnier than the fucking... one of these days Nikolai and Takeo are gonna get into it. Nikolai can't call him a monkey forever.
Agency
that wasn't funny either!
Gameplay dialogue.
No ammo. Well, this stinks.
That made me chuckle. It's funny seeing the fucking soldier American guy say stinks. Like the big buff soldier, like, rah, guns in blazing. And he just says stinks. That's funny. It's subversion.
Now, the counterpoint to all of this will inevitably be, well, most other zombie crews aren't super serious all the time. And that's...
No zombie crew is serious all the time. None of them. None of them. Not a single one is serious. Zombies is not a serious game mode at all. It has from the start been a goofy ass, wacky ass game mode where they just do fun shit that they want to do. They make up the lore after.
But also, the zombie storyline as a whole wasn't taken anywhere near as seriously in those past games as the premise crew's journey is in Black Ops 3.
Does he not know you can have a serious story that, you can have a story that takes itself seriously, but have characters that aren't serious? He needs to watch media, period, because, you're so stupid.
Between the characters spewing this, and let's call it for what it really is, awful, childish, and pandering dialogue.
Dude, you sound like a fucking middle-aged Republican.
It takes me out of the story.
What about this Dr. Monty guy? Who the fuck is he? Where the fuck is he?
Dr. Monty is on our side. That I am sure of. It's got to be around here somewhere.
Lois.
Peter, the horse is Peter.
He was standing directly behind him, and he's not there anymore. That's why a Dempsey's asking where the fuck he is. Are you stupid? He sent them out into this new area and fucking confused them.
Black Ops 3 is...
Shut the fuck up. I literally just said I need an ibuprofen, and you start doing the Lois Griffin voice.
Evil that must be stopped.
What do you... They just... Oh, dude... This guy's so fucking stupid. So
We're not even at the Gobblegum section yet.
So fucking stupid. He's so stupid. He has no fucking media literacy. He doesn't know the fucking timeline of these fucking games. He's talking about the lore that he doesn't know.
I ain't keen on the idea of floating around space forever.
I have been here before. I know what we must do. We must return the rocket to the Earth by whatever means necessary.
I need to rewind because I don't know what Dempsey said.
I know what we
on the idea of me.
Alright, let's see.
Gotta figure out a way to get it. Me back down. I ain't keen on the idea of floating around space forever.
I have been here before.
I'm pretty sure these are just two start of match or like early match voice lines triggering, and I don't think that these are interactive dialogue because there's an abrupt cut of the music that doesn't sound like it's connected.
We must return the rocket to the Earth by whatever means necessary.
Yeah, no, Rick Hoffman says that at the start of the match. I'm pretty sure. That sounds. I'm pretty sure that's just his spawn in quote, and Dempsey said his first, or like an early game like spawn room quote. I'm pretty sure that one is just coincidence.
If you want this writing to be taken seriously and not be in the background like it used to be, then I'm going to judge it and scrutinize it with...
They don't want it to be taken seriously like that.
I mean, you can't really say that. Ever since Origins, onward, it definitely is a shift if they want it to be a little bit more serious.
Well, more serious, yeah, but that doesn't mean they want it to be taken seriously, except for the cutscenes. And the cutscenes don't have the bits in them because they're like, oh, this is actually supposed to be a moment. And them just going around is supposed to be the same silly adventures. And they have to actually lock in.
I don't know. All of Black Ops 3 felt like, and even 4 feels like a whole lot more serious compared to the laid-back nature of the earlier maps when they had no idea what the fuck was going on. Like, they can have their jokey lines and shit.
I don't know, I don't see how it's, like, a problem at all. Well, I don't even see the point he's making.
I'm not agreeing with his point. I'm just saying I agree that it's supposed to be a lot more serious.
At the forefront of the game. They're rammed down your throat, and the character writing on display.
They're rammed down your throat. They're just voice lines. They're just voice lines. Most players don't even notice them. They'll like laugh at the funny ones.
Here is abysmal in the context of the story they're trying to tell. The core issue with these characters is that I constantly say to myself, Richthofen, Dempsey, Nikolai, or Takio would never say that. The problem...
They're a different timeline, bro.
Dude, they're not the same... They're the same characters, but they're different versions of those characters. You're thinking... Yeah, you're just not understanding the core fucking... Dude, this guy's no fucking media literacy.
These days, is whether it's the storyline, the maps, or even the gameplay, the series needs to be rooted in some kind of nostalgia, and that's why zombies can't ever evolve properly. Premise is...
I agree, but that problem started after, or most of Black Ops 3. It started with Revelations.
The perfect microcosm for this, because the only reason they're loosely based off of Ultimus is because of nostalgia. If these were new characters with different voice actors presented in the exact same way, going on the same journey of killing versions of themselves in the exact same maps, people would say that they're wooden, awkward, boring, and cringe.
That's a stupid fucking point. Oh yeah, if we just change the entire plot to not be connected at all and make it its own thing in a fucking vacuum, that takes away all context and emotional connection to, like, the story and characters, yeah, then it sucks. If we make it a blank slate that has no connection, yeah, that sucks. That's a stupid fucking point. You can make that about literally any media ever. No one's gonna give a fuck about Whole Cake Island in One Piece if you just make it its own individual story. They're gonna be like, why should I care about fucking Sanji leaving the crew? Why should I care?
I care about Sanji.
Tristan, you're missing the fucking point! If you just... the point he's saying is if you separate it entirely from its past and just look at it individually, why would you care? And, like, just replace every character with a stand-in that acts exactly the same and does its own thing? Why would you care? And, like, that can be applied to literally fucking anything.
Sanji, so I replied. That's all I really knew about the conversation. I'm sorry. I can get your stand on that though.
Like, that's just that's just a lack of understanding of media, and you're just trying to sound smart.
Because that's exactly what happened to the Chaos crew in Black Ops 4. It all comes down to
except they don't act like the Ultimate characters. In fact, they're or premise
writing. And the zombies community is obsessed with presentation over substance. Unfortunately, now we're in an era of
incorrect
zombies
buzzer.
Neither, but I digress.
If they cared about presentation, then
about the gaming industry over
Revelations
the
would be considered a good map. That map looks pretty.
Remaster and sequel after sequel instead of new IPs, it's because nostalgia sells, and anything new is a risk. And trust me, the irony isn't lost on me making this analogy about COD, a franchise that is more stale and decrepit than Star Wars at this point. But that was the beauty of zombies. It always felt separate to the COD franchise. Like, this is where all the devs' creativity and passion went. That's part of why big
I never played the campaigns.
chunks of Black Ops 3
people
zombies
Black Ops 3
heartbreaking
campaign,
because
and
it's
that's it.
standing in the same pitfalls as the
Which is
rest
like
of the COD franchise.
bottom-
That being safe,
COD campaign,
easy,
arguably
bottom
misleading,
10?
lack of creativity, just
I was gonna say bottom 5, maybe even bottom 3, maybe arguably
the
even
way
bottom
the
1.
storyline progresses, as I mentioned in my overview earlier.
Don't play the
is
Infinite
it's
Warfare
predictable.
campaign, bro. That shit
And
is
it's
so fire.
predictable because last minute,
Only good
Treyarch
part about that
decided,
game.
because of Black
Heck
Ops
no,
4,
the zombie space
around
on
the
fire.
time of Zetsubo no Shima, Black Ops 3's story would portray our characters completing the cycle. Because of that decision, the storyline in both games suffer massively. I'm not going to try and say that Black Ops 3's story, plot, and writing sucks because it isn't like classic zombies. I think Black Ops...
That is exactly what you have said for the past 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes. However long the section was. Dude, it's only been 6 minutes. Oh, that's how you know I've been rambling.
3's story just sucks on its own merits, while also not being like classic zombies and pissing all over the old storyline.
Why does it suck? Because so far all you've said is that it's not like the old thing. That's all you said. It's like, you haven't made actual... You're just repeating yourself in slightly different ways.
Killing the Ultimus crew, blowing up the moon, introducing God to explain all the mysteries of the old storyline.
And he can't tell me why killing the Primus crew is bad. He said it's bad because it's disrespecting the past. Bitch, what the fuck does that mean? Bitch, shut the fuck up! Introducing God? Hate to break it to... This shit's been in the game since fucking World at War. Or in terms of, like, the hints towards it. Or no, maybe it was Black Ops 1, I don't remember. It's been in the game, in the games that you praise. The alternate dimensions were introduced in Black Ops 2 on Origins, the map you've been dick riding this whole video. And fucking Mob of the Dead. That's just Jason Blundell.
In the least satisfying and embarrassing way possible. This may sound like a contradiction, but Monty, and to a lesser extent, the Apothicons, totally derail the story. Monty as an omnipotent god is a massive
What is the story before Monty?
No, you can't. No, actually, I kind of agree with this point a little bit. The journey from Richtofen going up to blowing up the fucking moon, and then you play Nuketown, and then round 25 hits, the rocket hit the Earth, the zombies change, then you go through the Victus of Richtofen manipulating, who is it, Stullinger, but then you also got Maxis trying to fight back for control. That shit was interesting. It wasn't as, I guess, death-filled as the Black Ops 3 storyline.
It was interesting, but like, the stuff for Monty was already there. It was already established. Like, the Apothicons are already a thing, a concept that was in the game. Or not in the games, but in the lores. In the lore. Now we're just seeing it. It's like acting like it all came out of nowhere, but it didn't. It's been talked about and established. And it's like Origins is directly setting up for this stuff too. The map he was praising.
Pop out from the writers. It's to whisk away all the inconsistencies in zombies and give context to things that didn't need context.
Where do you think all these magic weapon boxes come from? The chalk drawings on the wall, the magic ammo drops?
Yet again, an example of him picking and choosing what to show, because this is factually not true. They didn't retcon it. Monty says, literally, I'm not sure if it follows up this voice line or in another voice line. He says, oh yeah, they created it, I'm just bringing it to you. And manipulating it. So, the fucking, he put, all the weapons created, he just put them in the box. 935 created the perks, he just brought them to you. Because why else would random places, like, why would Shino Numa have perks otherwise?
Shino Numa is a 935 lab.
No, it's a Richtofen in facility specifically. 935 wasn't there, it was only him. And, like, why would Richtofen make perks? He never studied that shit. That wasn't him. He had no involvement with the perks, so why would there be perks there? Why would there be perks in transit? Or die rise?
I have horrific news for you.
What?
Both Dr. Ludwig Maxis and Edward Richtofen are both members of Group 935.
Yeah, but they were in different, like, parts. Like, they studied and research different things. Richtofen was focusing mainly on.
If I'm a facility and we're under the same facility, you don't think I'm gonna be like, hey, can I get some? Can you send over some shit?
No, but Richtofen was trapped in Shino Numa. Or not? I don't think he was trapped. He chose to stay there, disconnected. That's like why it's all booby trapped. It was, and also primitive. It was because all he had was him and the people that already lived there.
Founded 135 years ago today.
I do not care.
Okay.
Do I need to go on, or do you get the message?
Because
like,
when you
that's just not true. He's just blatantly lying right there. Monty says 935 created them, he just moved them there.
Into a corner, you could just pull out the God did everything and turn your story into a multiverse card. And with the Apothicons, concoct a random, unprecedented threat out of nowhere to vaguely tie in with what Samantha.
I won't say out of nowhere, they've been there since fucking at least Un and fucking Mention.
That says on Moon
like,
in Black Ops 1.
Just say you don't know the lore. This shit is established.
The blackness will swallow your pride. Something far more terrible than you lies here.
None of it's compelling.
They didn't have the details figured out, but they knew they were doing something in that regard. So it's like...
It's written horribly, and it doesn't work outside of the...
Written horribly, but he still isn't going into why. He's saying, they retcon things. No, they didn't. That wasn't a retcon. You're just blatantly lying about that. Okay, they shoehorn things in. Just say you didn't know the lore, because it has signs of being set up all the way back to here.
Superficial nostalgia that Primus offers. Even by the end of Black Ops 4, we never know what the Apothicons or Keepers want, or why both sides are bad, or why they're even fighting each other. We have zero stakes and zero
So Dr. Monty and all that, they want to create world peace. But the Apothicons, they're bad. They were corrupted by the Dark Ether, so they don't want world peace. They want world war. It's that simple. They're not complex villains. It is literally that simple. If you say that's bad, okay, fine. You can think that. It serves the purpose they're trying to show. The Apothicons come from the place the zombies come from. Do the zombies have motivations? No. So why should the Apothicons? If they're essentially the same as the zombies, they're zombie versions of the Keepers. Except the Keepers are like that. That is what they serve as a purpose. The Dark Aether just turns things into corrupt. It just corrupts things. So the Keepers are like strong, extra-dimensional beings, so they don't turn undead. They just become evil. Because arguably, you could say undead is just what an evil person. Like
investment outside of, once again, our characters, and the only part of them we care about is that they're based on the Ultimus crew. Lastly, I cannot stress how bad Malcolm McDowell's performance is in this game. It's almost like the people at Treyarch were fanboying so hard that he was in the booth, and were so nervous that they never asked him to do another take, or gave him any kind of direction.
I do see stuff now and then that makes me go, ooh, that's not good. I have been watching. I have seen each and every one of your misdeeds. I know who you are. Sounds ominous, doesn't it?
Chat, do any of those sound bad? Those all sounded fine and like normal deliveries to me, right? I'm not going crazy, right?
I just don't care. That's how I feel about Monty. He could be funny, but I just don't care about him at all.
Because it fucking is.
Without exaggeration, I can honestly say he has the worst.
I don't know his other roles, so I can't comment on
this. AAA video game.
Dude, the worst dialogue you've ever heard in a AAA video game? Be so fucking for real. Be so honest. That means you either haven't played big video games, besides this one, which would actually make a lot of sense, considering how little he knows about what he's talking about. I argue it's hard to say if he even played this one.
Embarrassing.
Hello? Testing. Do you hear me? Testing. Actually, I don't know why I'm doing all this.
I've got the bloody Shadow Man and the Apothicons throwing an intergalactic spanner in the works. When a duck swims on the water, you only see it glide, apparently effortlessly across the lake. But underneath, as in beneath the surface, it's a whole different story. His legs are moving like he's pedaling a fucking bicycle up a mountain. Well, that's me right now. I am that duck.
He's supposed to sound egotistic.
Bad writing combined with the worst delivery you've ever heard.
The delivery wasn't bad. I genuinely don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't good. It was a fine delivery. Nothing special about it.
I don't know. Apothicons is pretty fucking funny.
That was funny. Like, saying that's cringe just shows you don't have a sense of humor. But you think fucking, I need to go fuck my wives. If you think that's funny, bro, you sound like a fucking 40-year-old dad.
I just like the Shadow Man 2 and his place in the story. At least his performance
Dude, there's still an hour left. What the fuck does he yap about?
Believable and partially intimidating. But with Monty, similar to Primus, he's trying to balance serious and lighthearted, and it just falls flat on its face. So many parts of the dialogue in general feel like they were written for children.
Serious.
And I don't blame the voice actors for that, because Treyarch gave them nothing to work with outside of the ending cutscenes. It's just flat out bad. Black Ops 4, on the other hand, as a continuation to Black Ops 3, just introduced a hell of a lot more questions. There were vague mentions of a Great War map that would somehow wrap up the story, but wasn't the whole point in Revelations that our characters do fight in the Great War anyways? It doesn't really make sense, which is why I think that ending would have been just as poor as the one we got.
That's an awesome map, Tristan.
No. I figured out how to get Super Mario 64 co-op.
The point with bringing up Black Ops 4 is that Black Ops 3's storytelling and world building was so
you're about 5 years late.
Unfortunately.
Terrible that Black Ops 4 really had nowhere to go, and it shows. They literally had a title card that said, "The End," and given how badly they screwed everything up in that game, that's where they should have left it.
Also, they only did that because they were told that they were getting their fucking budget cut. And that they were gonna they're having them start over with a new storyline. That was a Treyarch decision, not a Jason Blundell decision. I'm pretty sure. Jason Blundell said, I'm pretty sure, in him say that he wanted to do more and wasn't able to with the time and resources as he had. And then after the poor fucking, what's the word? Reception of Revelations, it only got worse. And the only reason that they were even given any freedom to work with in Black Ops 4 was because Zombie Chronicles succeeded so much.
He's already dead.
Right when those long-standing questions about the storyline started getting answered, and Ultimus was brought in to add a little bit of charisma into Black Ops 4, they pulled the plug on the Ether storyline, all while leaving the way less successful Chaos storyline with a big cliffhanger. But in a massive plot twist surprising no one, Chaos was cancelled because Black Ops 4 Zombies as a whole flopped. For the next game, Treyarch had to go back to the drawing board after spontaneously being tasked with cobbling a game together out of Sledgehammer and Raven's failed 2020 project, with only a year to make it. So is it any wonder why Cold War feels completely soulless and story light outside of some terrible intel that no one's ever gonna listen to? Except for a few cretins on Twitter who are the only ones who like this garbage, of course. But they don't matter. They may as well be bots. Treyarch have been creatively bankrupt with this story for years now, and it all stemmed back to Black Ops 3. It became such a mess that the only solution was to kill everyone and reboot it. That's how you know you failed as a writer and completely and utterly.
That wasn't the only option, though. That's just what they went with. And the Black Ops 4 conclusion feels pretty satisfying with what they had, and given the circumstances, considering how fucking hard Treyarch was cut. Or at least the zombies part. Now even Treyarch as a whole for Gold. And the Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 was not well received, even in the multiplayer.
Utterly ruined your own source material.
Oh, zombie hit speed, I see it. He's gonna complain about it. And I'm gonna say skill issue. I'm telling him the times 2 speed, bro. Oh, he's not saying enough.
Alright, I've put it off long enough. Let's talk about Black Ops 3's mechanics. And let's start with what is the most defining and most jarring design choice in this game. Despite what people who have barely played this game or only play with Widow's Wine will try to tell you, as I briefly touched on in the Giant section of this video, in Black Ops 3, the speed at which zombies hit you is borderline broken. It feels like you can
skill issue!
Instantly go down. Without exaggeration,
skill issue! Considering you literally can instantly go down in Black Ops 1 and 2 if you don't have Jug. Windmilling, fun mechanic that you can definitely play around.
It breaks the flow of gameplay to make the zombies be able to down you this fast.
Skill
And
issue!
instead of addressing that, they just put in a broken crutch perk, Widow's Wine, to counteract it. Out of every other zombies game, it makes BO3 by far the hardest game to go back to and actually enjoy. It does feel like
Skill issue!
Sundowns are cheap, because you just know that in any other zombies game, in that exact same situation, you wouldn't have gone down.
If you down in round 2, and you're shit. He died in round 2 and is blaming the game. Bro.
When I get windmilled in any COD game with a 2-hit down, and I die and the game is over.
Yeah, when you do the thing that's nigh unreactable, Because technically it is reactable if you're paying attention to that specific zombie, but if you're in an instance where you can't see that zombie, you're just fucked. If you get windmilled from behind, you just can't do anything.
Just get pinned by two zombies out of nowhere without being able to hear them, and they'll insta-down you. Now, specifically for those who aren't aware or are going to try to deny any of the things I just said, I have irrefutable proof that the zombie hit speed is significantly faster in Black Ops 3.
No one's saying that. Why do you think they give you an extra health point? Like, no one's saying the hit speed is slower. We're just saying you're fucking bad at the game.
You want to see the comparison? Well, here it is. Now isn't that something, huh? Just one zombie can down you in a little over 2 seconds. God forbid you look down at your phone and get distracted during a match, and if 2 zombies start hitting you...
Why are you looking at your phone in a match game?
Why are you looking at your phone? Dude, what? What is that fucking... Yeah, that's gonna happen in any fucking game. Except for like a turn-based RPG or like a farming game. Any game where enemies are actively coming at you, you shouldn't be able to just stop paying attention for 15 seconds. What? Pause the fucking game! What? You're such a fucking moron!
Like I said, you get melted like it's nothing. Treyarch didn't do this by accident, or broke the game somehow. This is an intentional design decision to make the game more difficult, because of all the new powers given to the player in Black Ops 3 compared to Black Ops 2, 1, and World at War. The shield is on every main map, minus the Giant. Widow's Wine as a perk seemed to have been made specifically to address this issue, and is without a doubt one of, if not the most broken perk in Zombies history. And lastly, the Gobblegums. More on those in a bit. The problem with this method is, there are other ways of making the game difficult, and in terms of balance, Black Ops 3 can skew so hard in the other direction of being overpowered. With Widow's Wine, the shield, and
You can make the game difficult. But have you ever thought of why they made it difficult? Because they wanted to make you feel powerful while not making it too easy. Black Ops 4! Cold War! That's why dude, you're so fucking stupid. You know nothing about game design. Like, holy shit. Give me your fucking backlog, bro. Because this has got to be the fucking stupidest critique of a video game I've ever seen. I've never seen someone so consistently make objectively wrong takes and say, oh, this is a failure of game design. No, you're just fucking stupid and know nothing what you're talking about. God, this guy
only really ends up hurting people who are trying to play Black Ops 3 like it's classic Zombies. It's absolutely insane.
Then stop trying. That's your problem. You're trying to play it like it's a different game. Go play that game if you want to play that game. You're creating an issue. You're literally shooting yourself in the foot and then saying, why can't I do that? Because it's a different fucking game. That's like complaining that fucking Black Ops 1 doesn't play like World at War. It doesn't. You play those games differently. You have to go with different fucking plans. You're stupid.
To me, how many people glossed over this problem with the game, and I still rarely see it ever mentioned. And when it is, people talk it down with idiotic conjecture that somehow the zombies in Black Ops 3 are exactly the same as they were in Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1.
Nobody says that. You're making that up. Only fucking... No, people do say it. A majority of people don't say that. You're handpicking fucking dumbasses who don't know what they're talking about, like yourself. The people you're complaining about, that's what you sound like right now.
This issue makes Black Ops 3 just such a bizarre anomaly in the franchise. It's the only game where zombies are like this, and because of that, you need to really be in tune with Black Ops 3 specifically to be able to manage it. It's not that it's impossible to play around, or that it makes the game too difficult, it's that the game feels frustrating and way too random with this hit speed in place. In conclusion, the hit speed, while it isn't a deal breaker for me, it was for many. A lot of people I knew quit Black Ops 3 early.
No, it wasn't. It is literally held as the best zombies game by the entire community. Almost unanimous that it is the best zombies game. You're just wrong.
Because of this.
Alright, Gobblegums, let's see.
This is going to be extremely long, and I didn't cut anything out because Gobblegums, especially nowadays, are extremely polarizing. And I want to give my full perspective, which is one you don't hear very often from other content creators. With them returning Black Ops 6 zombies, all of this is very relevant. Gobblegums were introduced into Black Ops 3 as a way of monetizing zombies, as well as adding more gameplay variety that, unlike old zombies, wasn't just bound to a new feature in an individual map, but instead, the entire game. The effects of Gobblegums were separated by 4 colors. Green Gobblegums showed a set timer upon picking them up, and you had its effect until it ran out. Blue Gobblegums gave you an effect for a certain number of rounds. Orange Gobblegums activated an effect a certain action, or something.
In fact, in most matches, if I'm playing a solo match, I'm using default Gobblegums.
By hitting up on your D-pad. Gobblegums are required for machines scattered around each map. But
Default Gobblegums are fun as hell.
Except for Shadows and the Giant.
They give you, they're 20 broken.
Gobblegum machines, not one on the map, and similar to the mystery box,
they're not necessary.
Location after a few hits. Another change that was made further down the line was that the first Gobblegum used to cost 500 points. However, in 2017, this was changed in a hotfix, not a patch, to make the first Gobblegum always free. This is why if you play offline, the Gobblegum machine costs 500 like it used to. In the classic Gobblegum category, which are free and what you'll start the game using, are infinite use abilities that you can rely on every match, which include In Plain Sight, Danger Closest, which replaces PhD Flopper, Anywhere But Here, Arms Grace, and Alchemical Antithesis. The classic Gobblegums are fairly strong and reliable. There are quite a few useful abilities in here that benefit players of all skill levels, and it's surprisingly well designed and intuitive when you first start playing the game.
Okay.
At level 35, the max level, the last classic Gobblegum you unlock is Alchemical Antithesis, which is without a doubt one of the strongest Gobblegums in the entire game. I find it fitting and shocking for once in Call of Duty, what you unlock at the final level is actually game-changing and useful. In too many CODs, multiplayer-wise, the guns, perks, and kill streaks were very poorly paced in the ranking system, but with the classic Gobblegums, Treyarch knocked it out of the park. I have zero complaints with the classic Gobblegum lineup.
Alright, good.
As for that fun or not so fun monetization part I mentioned earlier, Black
I'm
Ops 3
sorry
Liquid Opinion has a currency that you would be able
that.
to earn randomly by purchasing
I
anything on Mac.
expected you to say something
you're able to
stupid.
spend it in Dr. Monty's factory, which is a sleek way of masking what are essentially zombies loot boxes filled with game-altering Gobblegums referred to as megas. That, for lack of a better term, completely ruined the game's balance. Especially when
it's not a sleek way. It's just it just is loot boxes. It's not. They're not trying to hide it. It's literally spinning like a gotcha machine. Just say you don't know what you're talking about yet again.
Started adding really, really broken ones later in the game's life cycle. At best, you could say that they're a form of progression on top of being microtransactions.
Wasn't self-med in a launch
No, they were
Gobblegum?
not. No, it was nah. Perkaholic was like the only ultra mega one.
And that they give the game a variety. At worst, they, as mentioned, destroy the game's
I think it was like
balance,
DLC 2 or 3 when they got
a
it.
boring experience for everyone involved.
Destroys the game balance. Don't fucking use them. It's that simple. They are optional, and you have to actively go out of your way to get them. Just don't use them. It's that fucking simple. You are complaining about an option. That makes the mode more fucking.
Which simply involved closing the game's application during said match, and would cause you to not lose any Mega Gobblegums.
More accessible.
Thus turning that one Perkaholic or any other Mega Gobblegum into infinite use. It should be no secret, I hated the monetization in this game with a burning passion. So let's get into my specific gripes and touch on the worst offenders. Power vacuum, near-death experience, Perkaholic, shopping free, and the annoyance of teammates giving you perks you don't want with raindrops, or on the house when there's only a 4-perk limit, having God mode in solo with near-death experience, buying every door on the map with shopping free, giving yourself all the perks on round 1 every single game, or trivializing the survival part of zombies or Easter eggs with unlimited power-ups doesn't add any substantive value to zombies as a package.
Then don't use it. If you don't want other people to use it, don't play with randoms, because no one is doing that anymore anyways. So, you're complaining about an issue that doesn't exist anymore. It's like, just get friends, Lamau. Get some fucking friends, you loser!
If anything, it subtracts. All of this despite what your favorite influencer tries to tell you, ironically hurt the game, the community, and the replay value.
You're just a fucking moron. Just don't you literally have to go out of your way in multiple instances to even get the option to use them. You don't get, like, they don't just give you unlimited, or they don't just give you unlimited Mega Gobblegums. You need to actively play the fucking gacha to get them, then spin the second gacha that's in-game to get at the one that might be broken. Just don't fucking use them. It's that simple. You're complaining about raising or lowering the skill floor in a way that doesn't make it required to use that lower skill floor. Just don't use them.
Of constantly dashboarding and an overly aggressive push to use Mega Gobblegums within the community. This is why public matches are unplayable. Rage quitting has always been a problem in zombies, but in Black Ops 3, it's on steroids because of this system. On a whim, someone in a match can just make the game not fun for 5 rounds with Power Vacuum, literally skip an entire round for seemingly no reason, pop max ammos, buy the entire map on round 1, ruining the map progression, pop a raindrops or an on the house and give me perks I don't want before I even bought Jug.
Leave the game. Leave the game and start over. You're saying before I even do any of that. Okay, then just leave the game and play with your friends. Go play with your fucking friends. Oh, you don't have friends? Oh, that sucks. Sorry, go play solo. You said you made it to around 100, then you should like playing solo, huh? I don't believe you. I need a fucking VOD, because you are so dog shit at this game. Not the editor. I'm not talking about the editor. The editor seems to be doing fine. I don't know. Oh, I don't really care. I'm talking about the guy who wrote this.
And sometimes don't even let me buy Jug at all. And because of the game's archaic 4-perk limit, if you don't join the Mega Gum Scrub Cult and get all those perks through that, or hope and pray that they don't use another raindrops or on the house, you have to down yourself. That is trash game design. Another massive issue.
Just don't fucking use it. It's that simple. Or if you don't...
No, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. About the perks, that is definitely a fair point.
I don't see it. If you don't want to play...
This game did not need a 4 perk limit. I'm so dead ass. I think 4 perk limit? That's what he was talking about. Let's say I'm playing, and then somebody pops on the house, and then now I have Deadshot Daiquiri, and the only way to get rid of it is I gotta fucking kill myself.
But I think he was just saying that he didn't want Deadshot Daiquiri. Period. It's like... I don't know. Complaining about... He's attributing that as a problem with the Gobblegum, and not the 4 perk limit. If he was saying that the 4 perk limit was bad, I misinterpreted that, and I think Zombies is better without a perk limit. It's more fun. You just get more options. But if you're saying that the Gobblegums are bad for that, it's like, no, just don't fucking use them. Don't play with people who use them, though.
Issue comes from dashboarding and the misconceptions surrounding it. You'll just be playing in a normal public match, or even in some of the group sessions I've been in, and then randomly the second somebody goes down, you'll see connection interrupted on your screen. And without fail, it happens nearly every game. I have to reassure people 800 times that when everybody goes down and I'm the last one left, that I'm not going to die, because I know they're hovering over that quit application button. Here's a PSA to all the folks out there, not that it'll make much of a difference at this point. The only thing that makes you lose your Mega Gobblegums is the game over screen, when somebody ends a game in a private match, or everybody dies. You can leave a match or cause a host migration by leaving in a public game, and you will not lose your Mega Gobblegums. The term dashboarding has inherently made this confusing. So the people who spread that lie that you need to close app made the game worse for everyone for years to come. Thanks, guys. Regardless, even if everybody knew that, it still wouldn't stop the host in a private match from closing app when 3 people go down, like a true coward. When a majority of zombie matches abruptly end...
No, that's real shit. If I spend money on this game to get Gobblegums, there's a way to keep that shit. If I fuck up or something bad happens, I'm dashboarding.
No, yeah.
Don't fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's... like, if you don't like it, just don't play with people who do it. Not many people play this game in with randoms anymore. It's pretty dead, especially on PC. It's like... And if you have no friends like this guy, because this guy clearly has no friends, since it's such a big issue for him, join Discord server. Or just go on Reddit. Just seek out and find people. It's not that hard. I remember I did that shit all the time. And if you don't want to use it, just be like, hey, if you want to use this, that's fine. I just would like to find someone else to play with that. It's not hard.
Threads where people legitimately think it's their internet, or that the game is broken because all they see when they play zombies with randoms is connection interrupted before round 20. Imagine the sheer number of people who stopped playing Black Ops 3 because they thought they couldn't play it. The negative impact dashboarding has had on this game.
He's over-exaggerating. He is making a mountain out of a molehill.
It's hard to put it into words. The fact that Treyarch never patched this makes my blood boil. It should have been fixed.
What up?
You remember the random we had during the Destiny raid?
Yeah.
I feel bad for him, bro.
You too.
In the first week of launch.
He had no idea what he was signing up for.
And 3 main gameplay pillars were first, survival, quests, Easter eggs, and to an extent, resource management. Gobblegums outright ruined those parts of the mode in Black Ops 3. What's the challenge, and what threat do zombies pose when you can outright...
Wait, I'm not gonna pause the video and say just don't use them again, because I'm just repeating myself at this point.
Quests, Easter egg design,
I've said like 80 times.
Stressful situations, Easter eggs, and some of the genuine puzzle solving and split decisions...
He isn't making any new points. He's just saying, oh, Gobblegums are broken. Yeah, everyone knows that. Don't use them.
The mode would be nowhere near as revered or popular as it is today for the reasons I just laid out. When I voiced these glaring issues with a pro...
It would be just as popular. Because it is an option. It is not required.
Gobblegum crowd, they would repeatedly use the phrase, if you don't like them, well then don't use them. As if they...
I knew it was coming. That's why I didn't say anything. I knew he was gonna drop it.
Away, bro.
Dude, I love that gif of the dude holding his head. That shit is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
It is. It's really funny. Yeah, I'll send it back to normal speed for this part.
This point that I hadn't considered. They ignore the obvious fact that nearly everything I just listed affects your teammates in a co-op game.
Just get friends! You have no friends! You're a loser! You're a bum! Go talk to your fucking coworkers! Get a simple... You're a console player too, so you have less excuses. If you're on Xbox, they have literally a feature looking for group post. Use that! I don't know if it's still actively used. Get some friends. Join a Discord. Ask on Reddit. I know the zombies has plenty of Reddit and Discords popping. Like, you're just a fucking loser. You have no friends.
In some way. These people also don't realize that telling you to play solo in a mode that's always been designed around co-op is an extremely stupid point, and ignores the impact Gobblegum's had on some of the core design elements of this game, and of course, the dashboarding. Another thing I hear a ton
What core design elements were built around Gobblegums? Because Gobblegums aren't even the most broken thing in this game. It's fucking double Pack-a-Punch. Double Pack-a-Punch turning every regular weapon into basically a wonder weapon with ammo types. It's fun as shit. That's why the game's harder, not because fucking Gobblegums. Because Gobblegums, like, this guy just doesn't understand game design. It's like,
how would they pay to win? I can get tons of Divinium easily. So let me give you a rundown on what pay to win is. The fundamental reality is that Gobblegum just means they failed.
No, it comes out in like 7 minutes.
The business part of this equation. I'm saying the outcome of having a pay-to-win system and my criticisms of it are the exact same because they wouldn't exist. And we wouldn't even be talking about that. If you have any other arguments in defense of Gobblegums,
just skip to his
loot box.
Alternate ammo.
Dude, he's still yapping. Oh my
god. For the first year. The moving Gobblegum machines and the fact that
he wanted to bring back the moving Gobblegums. He wanted to change the activations for a lot of them to 1, and then he'd get rid of all the Gobblegums he said were problematic. So all the ultra mega rare.
Oh, so basically he's a fucking moron who doesn't understand game design. And
You repeat what he says about alternate ammo types, or just repeat the conclusion at this point?
But where did Leland go? He said he was staying. Bum. I'll skim him through because honestly I don't care enough anymore. He's made almost no good points outside of the Revelations section.
Black Ops 3 has a fairly varied wonder weapon selection, and this is a big strength for the game as it is for many other COD Zombies games. No two wonder weapons feel alike, play the same, or deter from the map in any way. However, a stark contrast to Black Ops 1 and 2, where I'd more often than not find myself saying, I'd like that map way more if the wonder weapon didn't suck. All of Black Ops 3's wonder weapons feel powerful, and for the most part, are fun to use. So while Black Ops 3 isn't 100% perfect in this department, I do consider it to be a big step over the previous games. But one key point I want to make about Black Ops 3's wonder weapons that doesn't get mentioned a lot largely because most people just didn't notice, is the fact that practically all of them are reused assets from the multiplayer. They do it in a clever enough way where it's kind of hard to spot. I greatly appreciate the effort that they put in to totally transform these weapons. It's a kind of effort we really don't see in zombies anymore. You don't realize how good it is until it's gone. A key new feature Black Ops 3 introduced in an effort to make everyone get more involved in higher rounds, and to eliminate the guy with a wonder weapon gets all the kills problem that Black Ops 1 and 2 predominantly had, Black Ops 3 introduced alternate ammo types, AATs as I'm going to refer to them for short, by pack-a-punching your weapon a second time. Replacing the double pack-a-punch feature in Black Ops 2 that would merely give certain weapons a new attachment, most of which were fairly useless. These new ammo types, for lack of a better term, are hit or miss. First one we'll go over is Turned. It's creative, can help you camp, is semi-fun to use, and as a trade-off, the zombie you turn cannot give you points, XP, or kills on the scoreboard. Another downside is that it can end rounds when you kinda don't want it to. Sometimes you'll have to consider that when doing an Easter egg. Compared to some of the other AATs we'll be talking about, Turned is somewhat balanced because it actually has some downsides. Also to note, because of the cooldown on Turned, you'll be able to make another Turned zombie right after your first one dies, essentially giving you a permanent companion throughout a match, as long as you're shooting your gun. For those reasons, Turned is really cool actually, and I enjoy using it a lot. But I do think overall the cooldown should have been increased on it a little bit. Having a companion to help you was new for the series, and it's a welcome addition, but constantly having it active means it can clear an entire round for you, hypothetically. It's a shame because out of all these, Turned is by far the most interesting, but in Black Ops 4 and Cold War, this ability was made significantly more lame by comparison. Next one up is...
Have they changed it? I don't
It's really
remember.
effective if you're training and bunching up zombies very close, because it has a very small radius. Out
I
of
don't
all
play
types, Blast
post-Cold War
because the
BO4
zombies burn for a few
games.
seconds, and each tick of that gives you 10 points on top of the 50 you'll
I
get in the
played
first
them,
round.
I just
Blast Furnace overall
not
is the most situational
in the
of
past
AATs.
3
You'll be able
years.
to find the right zombie in a horde to maximize
No, I
your
played.
points. This one overall is
I
the
did
weaker side of the AATs.
most.
I do like the skill gap it has, but
no, I did all the
randomly
Cold War
because
Easter eggs.
it's only good for hoarding,
It was
especially
like
in co-op.
2.5
you're not
years
always
ago,
doing
I
it.
think.
Third one
So,
we'll talk about is
since
Thunderwall.
then.
As a nod to the Thundergun, Thunderwall will kill anywhere from 4 to
That's
10
not really
times
hard. I think I first tried
because
all of
it's
them
nice
except
for bullet when it's off its cooldown. One big pro for
except
Thunderwall in my opinion, is that it's the least
one of them, and that's just because I
useful
didn't know the boss attack would one shot
problem
me.
with it is that it kind of,
So this is like, oh, this boss fight is so fucking easy. And I was joking around, just like fucking around in front of the boss, being like, haha, you can't kill me, and then just one shot me.
Fourth one we'll talk about is Fireworks. This one is weird. When it activates, a version of your gun will appear in the center of the fireworks and
Didn't
shoot all
say
zombies around it.
anything
The weirdest thing
of
about
value
this
yet.
is, unlike the others, it actually
All he
matters what
said
gun you
is, all he
use.
done is describe
You can kill a
them.
full horde in one go, or on another weapon, it may only
Which, I
kill
mean, I
two.
guess not
Similar
much
to Turn,
else to
Fireworks
say,
does not
it's
give you
like-
kills, XP, or points. But on the right weapon, Fireworks is easily one of the most effective AATs. I saved the most controversial one for last. Deadwire is essentially a weaker version of the Wunderwaffe that can kill up to 7 zombies each time it activates. The problem with this is, the cooldown is literally just 2 seconds, meaning that Deadwire is more efficient and faster than most Wonder Weapons in Black Ops 3 at clearing rounds. Deadwire, until it was buffed in late 2015, was fairly useless. It also had the same issue as the pre-patch Wunderwaffe, where the zombies that were tethered by electricity would still move around and be able to down you. It would only kill 3 zombies at a time and had an extremely long cooldown. I'm glad it was buffed, but they obviously took it way too far. Look at this relative to the other AATs. Unlike Deadwire, to make the others kill a full horde, you at least have to switch back and forth between them because of their long cooldowns. Or in the case of Blast Furnace, killing hordes is literally the only thing it's good at. Deadwire, on the other hand, is used for pretty much everything. Camping, training, Easter eggs. It invalidates all other AATs and completely messes up the balance that Treyarch was going for. I think AATs were a blessing and a curse for Black Ops 3. In terms of design, these ammo types should complement the gun they're on, not override it to the point where you're just using it to get kills. Now don't take that statement the wrong way. Games like Black Ops 4 and Cold War take this way too far in the other direction, where the abilities themselves were so nerfed that they feel irrelevant to the point where it's just a different color and icon that makes your gun do more damage to certain enemies. I want these abilities to feel useful at high rounds, which is why they should absolutely kill forever. What I would change though is increase the global cooldowns of all the ammo types and limit the player to only one at a time on just one gun. And similar to Cold War...
That's stupid. That's stupid.
He had us in the first half, not gonna lie.
Yeah, in the first half I was like, okay, yeah, no, increasing the delay, or however long the cooldown is, yeah, that makes sense. Good. Yeah. Only one gun? Why? That's fucking stupid. That's an arbitrary restriction. There is no reason. And oh, it makes him broken, you can stop it, and boo fucking who.
Take the randomness out of spinning for the one you want, and just let people choose the one they want. Deadwire I would nerf down to killing just 5 zombies instead of 7. I would
They literally did that in Cold War. This... Dude, it just further shows how he hasn't played the game. They're saying, oh, in future Heralds they should do... They already did that! That's a thing they did!
Wall to increase its radius to kill half of a horde instead of just a quarter. And lastly, I would buff the radius on Blast Furnace so it can reliably kill an entire horde. But to compensate, I would give it by far the longest cooldown. With these small tweaks, short of adding a health cap to Black Ops 3, it would make guns feel useful for all players without making Wonder Weapons and traps irrelevant for
Yeah, it feels like he just watched a bunch of YouTubers, read a wiki, and is trying to make a rage bait. But like, I can't believe that someone made a 3-hour-long video as rage bait. I just
It would make them feel like a worthwhile addition, and not dominant to the point where high rounders on most maps would rather spam 3 overpowered AATs with mule kick over actually using traps and Wonder Weapons. You know, like classic zombies.
Guns, I don't really care what he says about the guns. I don't read.
After talking about the AATs, it's only fair to talk about the guns themselves. So, this is going to be a smaller point, but can we just talk about how lame Black Ops 3
is there anything else?
Everything he said in this section I agree with, but it's just more, yeah, the new guns they introduced should have been added to the old maps. Most of the BO3 weapons are just whatever. I vastly prefer the older weapons. That's pretty much it.
Okay, I agree with all that. What about any of the other sections? I don't care about.
He brings the movement is like the only other one. That one's short. Zombie Chronicles is just him just talk about the maps being remade and if they're better or worse. And he brings up some points and some changes that were good. Like I didn't even know that they lowered the water on Shinonuma to make certain sections easier.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that either.
The movement is when he brings up stamina, so that was the only one I thought, besides the conclusion, which is somewhat important. And then he praises the movement, so...
Okay. That's good. Sorry, I need to download this game real quick. Dude, this guy would hate Class 09. Alright, Steam,
what is,
come on.
honestly, the most unique
Let
form
me
of
buy
movement
it.
I've ever had in zombies.
How big is it?
Technique that was patched in the multiplayer.
I don't know, I can't buy it yet.
And it's the backbone of how most good players get around the maps in this game. I'm of course talking about the G-slide. This movement is a little easier to do on PC, or if you have paddles on your controller, but it's extremely useful regardless. This is one of the aspects of BO3 that I'm actually going to give high praise to. You can immediately tell a good player from a bad player by whether they start G-sliding as soon as the match begins. G-slides are also very useful when training. It, surprisingly, takes a lot of skill to be able to juggle zombies and G-sliding around hordes and corners. Now, one aspect of it that I actually didn't know until recently, courtesy of EasyP40's latest video on BO3's weapon mobility, link in the description, it's a great video by the way, go watch it, is that G-slides are faster than the base BO3 sprinting and movement, but when you have stamina, this changes. Regardless of the weapon class, you actually move faster sprinting than you do with the G-slide. But when you consider that your sprint recharges while you're G-sliding, stamina becomes even better than it already was. One of the things I've heard a ton of people say over the years is that stamina is useless because of the G-slide. I'm glad I can prove all those people wrong today. Anyway, G-slides are a very good thing for the game overall, and this is one area where I'm in full agreement with the community. I'd love to see G-slides.
I don't stamina on certain maps, it's just, I think it's
a lot of skill, but G-slides
I don't think you really need it on small maps.
Hasn't been replicated
but like Shadows, I can understand why you're doing that.
Sliding into the abyss. Simple skill gaps like this are important in zombies. It seems like Treyarch and modern game devs in general want to take things like this away from us to dumb the game down. It's exactly like it took all the skill out of one system. Treyarch, please bring it back.
And Revelation, but I'm never gonna play Revelation casually. I'm only doing that shit if I'm doing the Easter egg, and I only did that for the worm, so I can complete the super Easter egg.
You can skip theater mode. All he does is like, yep, it's broken, which is fair.
Alright, add to cart. Get my cart.
I think you just beat the conclusion that we can be done.
Yeah. Epilogue or the outro? Epilogue, probably.
Yeah, epilogue.
Alright.
I don't know if you want to time to it. It's only 10 minutes.
It's been over 8 years since Black Ops 3 came out, and over 7 years since Chronicles. That's a significant amount of time in anyone's life. With the twists and turns we've seen zombies and Call of Duty as a whole go through these last 5 years, post-Modern Warfare 2019, I can't help but think the glory days of zombies are well
content. It's 1.17 gigs, so he has until this game is done downloading.
We got some of the best content we've ever had in zombies. Infinite Warfare and World War II.
Welcome back, Leland. It's downloading.
World War II Glades is crazy. That shit had one really good map, and it was the first one, and every other map fucking sucked ass. Horrifically. The character select was fire, though. I'll give it that.
But just as an experiment, bear with me. If we take Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, we count those games remakes plus the Giant as their own original maps, we got all of World at War, all of Black Ops 1, Mob of the Dead, Origins, and Nuketown for Black Ops 2, and high-quality original maps from the Chaos Story and Premise. Say what you will about Blundell, but I know for a fact that man gave the community everything they wanted and then some. He well and truly cared about zombies, and it should be a tragedy to all of us that Black Ops 4's reception, experimentation, and its development struggles are what brought him down and got the Chaos Story cancelled. Even if you don't like Black Ops 4, you can't help but respect the amount of ambition that game had. 8 maps, remakes of classics, juggling 2 storylines, new game modes, custom mutations, difficulty options, bots and zombies, and a more extensive creative class. The list goes on. I just want to bring up this photo here. Now, memes have been made about this, and at the time it was quaint, but looking at it now, to reiterate my point, I can't help but think we don't know how good we truly had it at the time. There's one final thought experiment I want to leave you with. Imagine if Black Ops 3 ended with Revelations. That means no Chronicles and no mod tools. Would this game be anywhere near as revered or remembered as it is today?
Yes.
Map season were solid enough, but Chronicles and mod tools elevated Black Ops 3 to a game that is legendary and stands well and truly above the game.
It has two of the...
I think its point is so fair. If BO3 didn't have mod tools and Chronicles, there would still be a conversation about the best one.
Yeah, no, I think there would still be a conversation. I think a majority would still say BO3, because let's be fucking real, BO2 has 2 good maps. No, 3. Yeah, no, 3.
Mob is up there, Buried is up there.
Buried and Origins. And the Origins I like, but it has a lot wrong with it.
Games that came before it in terms of content alone. However, to me, as we've discussed today, I just see so much wasted potential and bizarre design decisions that if addressed, Black Ops 3 could have been one of the best games of all time, based off of zombies alone. And that's why I made this video. It's why this game is so painful to me, because it was so damn close.
Off zombies alone is crazy. We still got multiplayer in that dog-ass campaign.
It's why Black Ops 3, while a game I like.
Black Ops 3 multiplayer was fire. That shit was fun as hell.
I enjoyed it until they added the black market, and then I tapped out.
Black market? Very
sad note to end it on, but I'm still playing zombies at least once a month. Black Ops 3 included in that, of course, but I am worried about the future of zombies. I don't have faith that Kevin Drew and his team will do it.
I don't know, I just played...
in this video, but when it comes to
I don't know,
I felt
I played Black Ops 3 multiplayer when I first got my computer.
Starting with Black Ops 4 to a small extent to where we are now,
I thought it was fire.
It's lost its core feature of its once revered and addictive gameplay. It's lost its heart, soul, and detail in its story and environments.
And then people started hacking it.
You see, he's talking about Black Ops 6, but Black Ops 6 has been, like, almost universally well received, and everything except... And everything except the second Zombies map, whatever the fuck it's called, I can't even remember. Liberty Falls. People were saying that the first one was pretty good. And the multiplayer is the best received COD multiplayer since Black Ops 3 already, from the beta alone.
Oh yeah, no, that multiplayer is fucking
so
awesome. It's so good. It's so good.
And most importantly, it's betrayed what Zombies started as. A fun project of love for the developers to put all their cool ideas into, that would have been completely out of place.
What do you mean it betrayed what they started as? It just... What?
They got a budget. That's what happened. Niggas hate when you get money in your life.
They got
the 2 standard modes you'd see in a Call of Duty. But the sad part is, just like how we used to feel about those modes, Call of Duty now feels like another product, and not a passion. Going more in depth, fundamentally with Cold War,
we're gonna be playing faster than on the flip side. I had a few seconds.
If Black Ops 6 can deliver on that front, it'll
yeah, no, I'm just waiting.
Any other changes from Cold War. But what we want is an amazing game. What we need is a clear vision with focus. Not have a story that's delivered through lame audio logs that only 0.01% of the community will actually listen to. Not have gameplay that's so brain dead that you can spawn in with a shotgun and
this is Cold War. It's out 2020.
Bring back the classic point system so you're actually certain types of weapons and playing
about
make the Wunderwaffe how it used to be. Don't completely ruin the concept of perk locations and perk runs when you go down. Not have these lame map intros where you come in and helicopter and fail jeep because it ruins the tone of the mode and the feeling of survival. Not having custom classes and zombies.
I don't hear. Does he say anything valuable in this last 5 minutes?
He says BO3 is a game I like, but I could never love it. And that's the ending words of the video, I think.
You sure he likes it? Because he said 3. Actually, no. He did like the Rising Rock. He just didn't mention very many parts that he liked besides the bows and the Death Ray. Actually, he seemed to dislike everything except the bows and the Death Ray. And I skipped Shinonuma. He really liked Garad. I didn't watch it all because I don't care. And he hated Shadows of Evil. So that alone, that section alone, it was enough to show how this guy's fucking stupid. But yeah. 4-hour fucking recording to here. And we skipped half the video.
That's awesome.
Oh.
You should upload it and you should like tag him in the thumbnail and be like, "This he does not understand zombies at all."
Oh, I probably will.
I know he's trying to get Lex to react to it.
I'll probably just cut a few things out that like just don't need to be in. Yeah.
Are you really gonna look through the 4-hour recording to cut shit out?
Nah.
I was gonna say, I know you. You're just gonna upload that shit raw.
Dude, uncritiquable most of... Alright, but I gotta leave a comment.
With all due respect.
This dude also made a top 10 maps, he ranked every map in order, and that map ranking, oh my fucking god, it was so fucking hilarious.
What does he have as top one? Is it Origins?
Togder Toten.
You're lying.
I'm deadass. He did the whole video, and then he was like, and for my number one pick, you're gonna have to watch it in the next video.
The editor or the guy who wrote this?
I guess the editor and the dude doing the voiceover.
I think it's the same person. Okay, I thought you were talking about the guy who wrote this, and I was going to say that's crazy.
I feel like they both agree, so I feel like that's the... I don't think he would have done a voiceover for this if he didn't fucking agree with it.
I'm pretty sure in the description he said he doesn't agree with all the points, but that he respects like the thought and effort. Yeah, so I merely voice the words for him. I don't share every opinion.
Wait, so who wrote it?
Some guy on Twitter who doesn't have a
literally
piece
right under Jacob's comment.
Henry, here, actually,
Oh, what? Y'all were speaking at the same time, bro.
Henry Myth. Yeah, that dude. He wrote it. And then the dude who edited it and I guess did the voiceover was like, I don't agree with every single point, but I still stand by what he said. Which basically to me, he co-signs it. Because I don't agree with every point. It's like, yeah, I don't think... you genuinely approve of his message is like how I feel. And I could never co-sign a video like this.
Nah, dude, that shit's crazy.
You're crazy.
Wait, okay, I need to figure out how to do this.
Dude, what the fuck?
Hmm.
Alright, I'm back. Leland, when are you gonna do internet?
I have no idea.
How much are they supposed to increase your rates at Cox?
Huh?
Didn't they say they were gonna increase your rates if you were to go back to Cox?
Yeah.
How much?
I mean, they were already increasing it before. We started off with like, I think the $70 one, and it ends up like $130.
God damn.
Okay, 140.
Them things probably gonna last for like 160. For just internet?
Yeah. That's why when me and Jacob get the house, we're either gonna do that quantum thing that Leland was showing me, or we're gonna get WeLink. Which WeLink is like a Vegas only Wi-Fi thing, but I've had it before in the past, and it's really good.
He says, "I'm getting a fucking cock trap."
We can get Xfinity.
What did you say, Jacob?
I said, you can get that shit. I'm getting a cock tracker. I've been saying this since the start. I'm getting Gigablast. That shit is cheaper.
No, it's not. It's not fucking cheaper. I'm paying 4 Gigablast right now, unlimited, for $140 a month. This shit is horrible.
You showed me your plan. It was a different plan. We did this already. I went to the Cox website.
Listen,
you pulled up your plan, and the one I was talking about, mine was way cheaper, and had.
These niggas going plan for plan. I'm crying, bro.
We're not gonna have 2 separate Wi-Fi routers. I'm sorry. We can. Leland was showing me this quantum. What was it called?
Quantum. There's an option where you can get up to 1 gigabyte, but
quantum fiber.
I don't think it's guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah. 9. Yeah. This will actually the Wi-Fi 7 shit. Up to 8 gigs. This is probably better than Cox, actually. Like, unironically, Jacob. This is probably.
Yeah, you gotta think about customer service, that experience, how the upkeep on if they gonna keep their shit updated, how willing they gonna be to come out to
customer service can kiss my ass.
I'm just saying, there's other factors you have to consider outside of just what's gonna give me the best speed.
That's facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 8 gig thing on Quantum is $165 a month, but it's 8 gigs, like a second.
They say it's 8 gigs a second, but how much are you really gonna get though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm also kind of a bit iffy about. Because, I mean, if it's gonna be me, Jacob, and Sky, we all play games and we're all talking on Discord at the same time. Like, it's different when you live with your
online games.
Huh?
Yeah, at worst, you gonna be streaming shit at maximum quality, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't help play Overwatch that much.
I mean, I want to start. I want to start streaming. Yeah. I want to start streaming when I get.
I need Starbucks to be back so bad. I think I want to get I want to get a better monitor now. I keep seeing so many monitors, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's time I make the jump to at least like 1440p. If there's a good ass deal on a 4K monitor, I'll cop that. Huh?
Bro, I'm gonna be real. There's barely any difference between a small 4K monitor and a small 1080p monitor.
Yeah, but I want something with pretty colors. That's my problem.
Yeah, you don't need it. You can get a good monitor for that's not like 4K. That's just like a frame dumper, bro.
Get 1440p. Don't get 4K.
Did y'all miss what I said? Yeah, probably 1440p.
Oh,
maybe
my
4K if they have a crazy deal on one.
Oh, my fault. Yeah. I'm comfortable with my monitors. I mean, I have nothing to really. I don't want to replace them. As long as they're good, I'm not gonna get rid of them. Cause I mean, they're 165 hertz and they're 1080p, which I'm fine with. Like MSI, they're gonna last a long time. I've had literally 0 issues, and I've had it since like 3 years now.
I don't see a need for resolution above 1080p, but that's just me.
There's this. I saw this review on someone's YouTube. It was a new LG monitor. It was a 4K monitor. It was 32 inches, but it was also like 400 hertz. It's like a $5,000 monitor. It's actually crazy.
Nigga, you be playing Black Ops 2 on fucking 400 FPS. Cause that's like what the only game off the. Nah, you might be able to play some fucking Minesweeper.
Minesweeper.
You might be able to play Peggle. Maybe.
Might be able to play Peggle.
Minecraft, if you turn every single setting to the absolute lowest, maybe for like a tenth of the second, you can hit 400 frames.
Fortnite.
Nah, you be lucky to get 250.
I guess.
No, I'm
What the fuck? Someone just posted a TikTok about this HP, like, shitty Windows Vista PC that I actually had during my childhood. Damn. Fucking slap in the face throwback.
God damn, Jacob! Holy shit!
I know, yeah. He's fucking. He's going off, man.
No, I'm at the end. I was just reformatting, moving some things around to make it so that I'm not like talking about things at one point and then I bring it back up later. I'm like, oh, I should just move that back there. I'm putting more effort into this than I put in my college admission essay.
Spider-Man 2 subplot. I can't believe they wrote that game, and all Miles does in that fucking game is, man, I should write my essay. Man, I should write my essay. That shit is so fucking funny, dude. But did we ever these guys that made you so violent? I'm gonna go potty. I'll be right back.
Alright. Alright. I dropped it. Time for peak.
Yeah. Leland. You said you had your Starbucks interview today, yeah?
Yeah.
You think you got it, or or do they invite you back for a second interview?
They said they'll call me by Wednesday, I think, and let me know.
Okay, sick, man. I hope you get it. Did you hear anything back to here from Starbucks?
I don't think he's here.
Oh.
He said he was going to the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, yay. Funny game, funny game. Yeah. Uh-oh. Your stream broke.
Every choice you make
Oh,
is
never
just
mind,
to
it's back,
compensate
sorry.
for your last one. As if the future's never free to break the past. I've seen a lot being friends with Nicole. Statutory teachers, pedophile counselors, white nationalists. One guy even killed his mom for me. I mean, I'd kill my mom for me as much as the next guy, but geez, no matter what she did, it would just leave the people closest to me dead or traumatized. I can't promise things are gonna end any better, but at least we can try our best. This is the flip side.
So what is the premise of the flip side, rather?
Jekka's the protagonist.
Oh. So Nicole is no longer the protagonist. She's just the side bitch.
Am I already awake? This sucks. It's like Percocet just makes you stronger and immune to more Percocet. Adderall. And a cigarette. I want a cigarette and Adderall.
True.
Oh shit, what have I missed? What have I missed?
The game just started.